Yankees-Red Sox rivalry is one of baseball's most storied, with the likes of former Sox pitcher Babe Ruth, the original Iron Man Lou Gehrig, and Red Sox great Ted Williams. Turn the clock to 1998. Jimmy Williams points his Red Sox towards a race for the American League East crowd with a mix of veterans and newcomers. Heads up, the best team in baseball looks to keep streaking behind the hot bat of Chuck Knobloch. Yankees, Red Sox, Baseball Thursday, next. The Statue of Liberty welcomes visitors to New York, but not many visiting baseball clubs have enjoyed their trips to Yankee Stadium this year, where the Yankees have won 16 of 19. And tonight, in the first of a 4-game series, they host their longtime rivals, the Boston Red Sox. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Baseball Thursday. Kenny Albert with Jeff Torborg. Yankees with the best record in baseball. They won 2 of 3 up at Fenway this past weekend, and they have the 5th best record after 46 games in baseball history. And Jeff, if you had to pick one guy, one MVP on a team of many all-stars, who would it be?
Well, I think I'd have to answer that by saying, which player could they not afford to lose for any length of time? It would have to be Derek Jeter. Not only has he always been a good defensive player, but now he's adding power to his game. He's a 5-tool player. He is a guy I don't think they could afford to lose at all. Well,
the Yankees having a tremendous season, and the last time out here at home, David Wells pitched a perfect game against the Minnesota Twins. Wells on the mound tonight against Tim Wakefield. Both pitchers have won their last 6 decisions.
Now, that's amazing to have a matchup like that with 2 really hot pitchers, but remember, these are 2 completely different type pitchers. Wells is a power pitcher, Wakefield a knuckleball pitcher. You never know what to expect from a knuckleball pitcher, but this is an excellent matchup.
And some good news as far as the Boston Red Sox are concerned. Last year's American League Rookie of the Year, Nomar Garciaparra, returns after missing the last 16 games with a shoulder injury. So coming up next, the knuckleball specialist Tim Wakefield looks to make it 7 straight victories, as does David Wells, who pitched a perfect tune the last time out at home. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Rolling Rock, a unique state of beer. By Desinex, the soothing cure for athlete's foot. And by Kubota Tractor Corporation, who invite you to visit your local Kubota tractor dealer today. You saw former Red Sox manager Don Zimmer, his 50th season in professional baseball. Now on the other side is the Midland, Texas high school band serenaded the crowd here at Yankee Stadium with the national anthem. First of a 4-game series, and Darren Lewis will lead it off for the Red Sox, followed by third baseman John Valentin. Nomar Garciaparra returns tonight after missing 16 games. Mo Vaughn in the cleanup slot. Former Yankee Jim Leyritz, the DH tonight. Troy O'Leary will bat 6th. Mike Benjamin at second base, replacing the injured Mark Lemke. Darren Bragg in right field, and Jason Varitek behind the plate.
And they'll go against Mr. Perfect, David Wells. He's the first to say, I don't know how he ever did it, but he's a big guy, 6'4", 235 pounds, 35 years of age. Nice numbers, 53 hits in 67 innings. That really shows you something. Great control. He doesn't walk very many people, and he does have strikeout pitches.
David Wells has won his last 6 decisions. Yankees 9-1 in his 10 starts. Jorge Posada behind the plate, as he was during the perfect game a week and a half ago. Tino Martinez once again in the original lineup, but he will not start. So Dale Swain will play first base. Knobloch, Jeter, and Luis Sojo for the injured Scott Brocious. Raines, Williams, and O'Neill in the outfield.
And the scouting report on David Wells got a good live fastball. He's above 90 miles an hour with it. Big curveball. He's got a tight slider that he runs in on right-handed hitters. He throws changeups to right-handers. He's got very good command. He'll have trouble at times with left-handed hitters, but he's got a good live arm, and he also throws strikes.
4-0 here at Yankee Stadium this year. Joe Torre on the left, Jimmy Williams on the right, and Darren Lewis will lead it off. Yankees best record in baseball. Red Sox with the third best record in the American League. 2-1 this season. Yankees leading the season series. They have won 998 games against the Boston Red Sox. Strike one called by the home plate umpire, Al Clark. David Wells has retired 37 consecutive batters here at home.
Well, it's amazing the streak he has put together, and of course here he comes back with the very first pitch of the game, which is so important, as a strike.
And there's another one, strike two. Darren Lewis has not had much success against David Wells in his career. Has not had any success. 0 for 11 lifetime against Wells, batting .295 on the season. The 0-2 from Wells. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We can almost see right away in the first 3 pitches of the game the kind of philosophy that David Wells lives by. Get ahead with your fastball. If you get ahead, then try a left-hander. Curveball, I should say, and throw the ball down in the strike zone.
A 1-2 pitch and a base hit into left field as Luis Sojo could not make the play. So David Wells, perfect in his last home start, allows a base hit to the first Red Sox batter here tonight.
Well, Luis Sojo is a good backup guy. He's played shortstop, second base, first base, and third base, but I don't know what happened on that one. He's wondering what happened on that one too. Scott Brocious normally, as you see him sitting in the Yankee dugout, would be the third baseman, and he's a Gold Glove type third baseman. Not to say that he would have caught that necessarily, but Sojo has moved around a lot, and that ball was hit hard, but it looked like it maybe took a bad hop and got by Sojo.
So Lewis, the runner on first, has 6 stolen bases on the season. And Wells throws over. John Valentin at the plate. Homered off Wells Saturday at Fenway. One of his 6 home runs. Valentin struggling at the plate, however. 6 for his last 37. Batting only .235, a local product. Attended Seton Hall in New Jersey. Lewis Bluff. And the first pitch to Valentin is ball 1.
John Valentin, as you mentioned, from across the river, he is a good power hitter. He likes the ball in the inner half of the plate so he can turn on it and pull it. 2 spots you can get him out is up and away and low and away. And that last pitch by David Wells is thrown out of what we call a slide step, trying to hold Darren Lewis close at first base, who can really run. You're going to see some varying of David Wells' delivery. He lifts his leg normally and takes a little time to get the ball to the plate. But when he has a good runner at first base, he'll not lift the leg very high. He just kind of jumps at the hitter in order to try to fool the base runner.
1 ball, no strikes. The count on Valentin. Now 2-0.
Well, this is what you always worry about with any pitcher, even a veteran pitcher, is if you start messing around with your leg action, it can throw your timing off a little bit. Now, that last pitch by David Wells, you see him lift his leg and then look to the plate at the last minute, and he threw the ball high. So when you start messing around with changing your motion, it can cause some problems. And that's Mel Stottlemyre giving the signs to Jorge Posada.
Strike call, 2-1.
Now those signs are not for pitch selection. Those signs are for whether you throw over to first base, whether you pitch out, whether you step off the mound. What you're trying to do, and what Mel's trying to do, is keep that runner close. They study the base runner at first to see if he gives anything away. There's Posada looking in at Mel.
Wells to the plate, high and tight, 3 balls, 1 strike. Top of the first inning. Nobody out. Darren Lewis, the runner on first.
Well, Darren Lewis can run. The Red Sox are not a team that run a lot, but Darren Lewis can. He's a type of player, that's his game. He's able to run. You got a left-hander on the mound who normally can be very deceptive. David Wells doesn't have a great move to first base. He's just kind of changing his motion and his delivery.
Popped up right side of the infield. And the catch is made by Dale Swaim. One away in the first. Yankees with the best record in baseball, 35-11. Red Sox 7.5 back. Yankees 12-9 losers in Chicago last night. They did not return home until about 4 in the morning. Red Sox had an off day, but they did play against their AA affiliate in Trenton, New Jersey. Scored 4 in the 9th inning to win it 4-3.
Yeah, it's tough coming in after a road trip and get in that late. Joe Torre was saying before the game they didn't get settled at home till about 4:30 in the morning, so he gave his club the day off. They didn't have to take batting practice.
And here's Nomar Garciaparra, last year's American League Rookie of the Year. His first at bat since May 9th in Kansas City when he sprained his shoulder. Red Sox went 7-9 without Garciaparra. At the time of his injury, Boston trailed the Yankees by only 3 games in the standings. Now 7.5 back. His parents are here tonight. His number was retired last night in Trenton. He played there in 1995, and the Red Sox flew in his parents, Sylvia and Ramon, which is Nomar spelled backwards. One away, the 0-1, a call, strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes.
Garciaparra was an All-American at Georgia Tech, and everyone thought he was going to be a good player, but nobody thought he was going to have the kind of offensive ability that he showed last year. In fact, if you look at his stats at Trenton when he played a full season there, he didn't even hit in double figures in home runs, and yet they retired his uniform based on probably what he did to the Red Sox last year. But this guy makes this club go, I think.
He hit 30 home runs last year. And a bloop into center. Bernie Williams coming on. 2 away.
Well, when you see the ball hit off the hands like that one off of Garciaparra's thumbs on the narrow part of the bat, you think it's going to fall in because you have to respect his power and play very deep. But Bernie Williams just glides all over this outfield, and he got a tremendous jump on this ball and made it look a lot easier than it was. Bernie plays, remember, this is a big center field. It's 408 straight away, power alley 399 in left field, but Bernie Williams a tremendous center fielder.
So with 2 away, Lewis still on at first. Here's Mo Vaughn hitting cleanup tonight. And a ground ball to the right side. It gets through. Lewis on his way to third. And the Sox with runners on the corners.
This ball that Mo had just squeaked through. Dale Swaim came off the base, first base, and almost had the ball, and then Knobloch almost had the ball. And here's a swing. Ball's low and in. See it just squeak through. Both fielders.
So Vaughn on at first, Lewis down at third, and a rare ovation for a Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. Jim Leyritz, a fan favorite. Did one of the biggest home runs in Yankees history in '96 off Mark Wohlers in the World Series. And Leyritz takes strike 1. He said when he came back as a visiting player last year with the Angels, and Leyritz has words with Al Clark. He said he received a nice ovation, but was wondering if he would get the same in a Boston uniform.
Well, he sees he got one now, but let's see what happens. Of course, he's complaining right now with Al Clark, the home plate umpire, that he thought that curveball was low, that first pitch to him. Got an unorthodox hitting stance, pushes his weight way back. When he first came up, he had an open stance, but he always had that strange way of pushing his weight back, making sure his weight was on his back leg. Now he's closed his stance up. His left foot is closer to the plate, but his hips. He's a good hitter. Has good power the other way.
Leyritz, the DH, batting .302. Strike called, 1-2.
You know, I remember I was managing the White Sox, and Andy Hawkins was pitching for the Yankees, pitching a no-hitter, and it turns out on came from behind, or actually I should say scored 3 runs when Jim Leyritz playing left field lost the ball in the sun, and we won, having been no hit, won the game.
1-2 from Wells in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I often thought about how tough that was on Leyritz. Leyritz has played everywhere. He's been a catcher. He played first, played through the outfield, and he really is an offensive player, and a very good one. In fact, that home run you were talking about in the World Series was pulled on a hanging slider when everybody thought he probably, if he would hit one, it would go to right field.
2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count. As Wells delivers off-speed pitch, strike 3 call. So Wells allows 2 base hits, works out of a jam. Red Sox leave 2 as Leyritz is called out on strikes. Omar Garcia-Parra coming back from the shoulder injury. He said still hurts when he throws. It's okay when he swings, but has had problems with the shoulder when throwing the baseball. As Chuck Knobloch leads it off for the Yankees against Tim Wakefield here in the bottom of the first. Wakefield has won not only his last 6 decisions, but his last 6 starts.
Well, you look at his numbers. Numbers are good, except for the ERA. Over 4 is still a little high. But what you look for, and there's a knuckleball, you see how it dances to the plate. What you like to see out of a knuckleballer is if he can keep his base on balls down. That's so important, and he's able to do that.
Strike call, 2-1.
Now what you'll see out of Wakefield, and in the scouting report it shows that 90% of the time he'll throw the knuckleball. He does occasionally throw a curveball, and he'll throw a 4-seam fastball, and he's very quick to the plate, which knuckleballers have to be. And you can see Knobloch trying to fight that thing off. The knuckleball, basically the theory is very little rotation. It can be pushed out without any friction on holding on the seams or anything on the ball. Very little rotation. That means that the wind will affect the seams and the ball will dance if thrown properly.
And the 2-2 misses, a full count on Knobloch. This is the second time the Yankees have faced Wakefield in less than a week. He earned the victory on Friday at Fenway. The Yankees led that game 4-0. Red Sox came back with 4 in the 7th to win it 5-4. Wakefield went 7, allowed 4 runs on 7 hits.
We'll take a look at what Wakefield will do here. See his hand in the glove. You can see the knuckles up on the ball. Actually, it's not the knuckles, it's the fingernails. But see, very little rotation. And see how the ball, very little spin, and the ball will dance.
Ball 4, so Knobloch heads down to first. Wakefield coming in, Jeff, 6th in the American League, allowing fewer than 2 walks per 9 innings when he walks the leadoff man, Knobloch.
Well, it's very difficult. First of all, it's difficult to catch the darn thing. You imagine trying to hit it. But for a pitcher, it depends on the atmospheric conditions at times too. If a pitcher finds he has the wind at his back, the ball will straighten out. If the wind is in his face, it'll dance more, and he has to make adjustments. But Phil Niekro, the Hall of Fame knuckleballer, talked to Tim Wakefield a couple years ago and suggested that he throw the ball easier.
Derek Jeter swings and misses, 0-1. Knobloch on at first with 11 stolen bases on the season.
Now you can see the fingers up on the ball. Now here it's on. This is thrown pretty easy. This is only 68 on the gun. What most hitters try to do is make sure if the knuckleball is up in the zone, go for it. If it's down, let it go.
0-2.
And there were 2 that were up in the strike zone. The reason for that is if the knuckleball is up in the strike zone, it normally doesn't dance as much as it does from the belt downward. And so the hitters who see it up in the strike zone think, well, it looks like a watermelon, even though it's dancing around like a butterfly. Try to hit it there.
In the air to right. Darren Bragg moving to his left in the corner. And he makes the catch. 1 away. And now Jeter will be followed by the right fielder Paul O'Neill, the number 3 hitter for the Yankees tonight. Ernie Williams in the cleanup spot. Tino Martinez was scheduled to bat 4th, but will not play for the 8th time in 9 games. After Williams, Darryl Strawberry, Tim Raines, Jorge Posada, Luis Sojo, and Dale Swain. Defensively for the Red Sox, they are 17-3 with Varitek behind the plate. And Garcia Parra, of course, returning from the disabled list. He's committed 9 errors this year in only 33 games.
Well, I'm anxious to see how he throws. You mentioned earlier, whenever you have a bad shoulder, he slightly separated his shoulder, and you have to make a throw from the hole or running behind second base, it can really put pressure on a shortstop. That's a tough throw with a sound arm, so we'll see how he responds.
Paul O'Neill takes strike 1. O'Neill batting .319 on the season, which is 5th best among the Yankees. .319, only 5th best. They have 4 players in the top 8 in the American League, and that does not include O'Neill at .319. And he will raise the average right here in the gap in left center. It rolls to the wall. Knobloch rounding third, waved home by Willie Randolph, and the Yankees lead 1-0. An RBI double. Run batted in number 38 on the season for Paul O'Neill.
Well, Paul O'Neill just came off a very hot series against the Chicago White Sox, and he had been hot hitting the ball the other way. And instead of trying to pull this soft toss knuckleball, he drove it into left center field. Watch the pitches away, and he drives it into left center. Now Knobloch stumbles coming around second base, and I wondered if he was going to be able to score it, but the ball gets through and gets underneath the mat in left center field, and Darren Lewis can run. He gets the ball in, but Knobloch is flying. Now here it's Knobloch stumbling around second, but he's still going full speed, and Willie Randolph does a nice job at third base of waving him home.
16th double of the season for Paul O'Neill. A 1-0 Yankees lead, 1 out. Ernie Williams 3 for 5 last night in Chicago. 8th in the league at .326. He drove in 5 runs last night in the Yankees' 12-9 loss. There's Knobloch, who has scored the game's first run. Fouled off, 1-1. This is the first of a 4-game series. They played 3 at Fenway over the weekend. Wakefield and the Red Sox won the opener 5-4. The Yankees came back 12-3 and 14-4. The Yankees, as we mentioned, have scored 54 runs in their last 5. Those 2 games in Boston and had 3 in Chicago. They won 2 out of 3 at Comiskey. The wins 12-0 and 7-5, and they scored 9 runs in a loss last night, averaging nearly 11 runs per game over the last 5.
Well, they put great at bats on you, not just the way they hit, but they make sure they get the pitches they're looking for. They make the pitchers work. They don't just go up there and take an easy out or go after the first pitch.
Gets away from Varitek, but O'Neill holds at second.
Varitek is going to have a very difficult time. We talked with him before the game. He's a young catcher, and I asked him how he was going to approach catching a knuckleballer, and he said, what I really try to do is be as relaxed as I can be. I know, having caught a knuckleballer, if you get your hands too stiff, you're going to have trouble because the ball is all over the place. So Jason said he just tries to get his left hand, his glove hand, around his leg, very relaxed, get his left leg in out of the way, and that ball just shot back into the hitter, which is tough. See how he's bending his left leg in?
And Wakefield has issued a walk for the second time in this first inning. And we mentioned earlier, he walks only 1.8 per 9 innings on the season. And he has already exceeded that average.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't get that knuckleball to be over the plate. Now you see Varitek with a large glove. One of the toughest pitchers for a catcher to catch a knuckleball, and the toughest location is right up around your face because that glove is so big. When you reach for it, you lose sight of the ball. But Varitek was saying he really feels comfortable if he relaxes his left hand and gets his left knee out of the way, gets it bent into him. There's the big glove.
2 men on for Darryl Strawberry, who takes ball 1. O'Neill, the runner, on second. Ernie Williams down at first base. Strawberry 5 of 16 lifetime against Wakefield with 2 home runs. In fact, he sat out 2 games last week following his 3-game suspension for his role in the brawl against the Orioles. He appealed in order to face Wakefield last Friday night and then sat out the next game. However, in that game against Wakefield, he was 0 for 4 as O'Neill hits down to third. The throw goes into left field. And O'Neill will score the Yankees' second run.
Well, on that steal attempt, of course, the throw into left field, Paul O'Neill didn't even know it went by. He was sitting at third base for a while, and Willie Randolph, the third base coach, jumping up and down, encouraging, get up, you can score. Now, we were talking about how tough it is as a catcher to catch a knuckleballer. And then once you catch it sometimes with that big glove, you can't find the ball in that big glove. So you don't get a good grip on the ball. I'm not making excuses for young Jason Varitek, but sometimes that big glove can be a detriment.
And Strawberry pops it up in foul territory. Valentin makes the catch. 2 away. So Paul O'Neill with his 6th stolen base of the season. He's 6 for 6, and then an error charge to the third baseman Valentin, allowing O'Neill to score and Bernie Williams to move down to second. So 2 outs, 2 runs in, and Tim Wakefield has allowed 8 first-inning runs, as you see, in his 11 starts. He's allowed only 36 runs overall, but has had problems in the first inning. Tim Raines takes ball 1 with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Raines working on a 4-game hitting streak. He's 9 of his last 23.
Kenny, there's a reason why a knuckleballer has trouble in the first inning. It's a field pitch, just like a breaking ball is, and it takes a while to get feel how to throw the ball.
And a bloop is caught by Valentin in shallow left. So Wakefield allows 2 runs on only 1 hit, 1 error in the first inning. O'Neill with the double, and the Yankees lead it 2-0. Tim Wakefield allowing 2 first-inning runs. Yankees took a 4-0 lead against Wakefield on Friday night. So we move to the top of the second.
Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, talking to Tim Wakefield, and even though Joe was not a knuckleballer, he knows what his pitcher's tendencies are and the mechanics that he needs to throw the ball over the plate, and it's very tough sometimes the first inning.
Troy O'Leary leads it off for the Red Sox here in the second, batting .298, 7th in the American League with 12 home runs. O'Leary working on an 11-game hitting streak. High and tight, 2-0.
You know, when I'm talking about the difficulty in the first inning, the mound in the bullpen where they warm up for about 15 minutes very often is different than the mound out on the field, and so it takes part of the first inning for the pitcher to get used to it.
Foul back, 2-1. You mentioned earlier you caught a knuckleball pitcher, Charlie Huff, in Los Angeles.
Yeah, a knuckleballer is really tough to catch, and it really kills you, you know, when you're concerned about trying to catch the ball and looking foolish. Look at O'Leary, how he's gotten better and better each year. He was a prospect originally out of the Milwaukee organization.
Foul back, 2-2.
But catching a knuckleballer, you have to stay relaxed, and Jason Varitek is right there, and keep your hands close to the body. But it is not at all like catching any other type of pitch. And of course, Wakefield originally, when he broke in, was with the Pirate organization, was a first baseman. So he'll be the first to tell you it's altogether different pitch to throw as well, because you want no friction on the ball if you can help it. And you can see David Wells right there keeping the left-hander honest, running that ball in on his letters. David Wells has some trouble with left-handed hitters, so he's going to try to make sure he keeps them honest, because they probably look out over the plate for most of his pitches.
Wells was the first left-handed starter to win at Fenway this season when he defeated the Red Sox on Saturday. Red Sox are now 15-2 against left-handed starters.
Well, that ballpark up there has always been a terrible graveyard for any left-handed pitcher. See O'Leary's hit zone.
And he smacks this one to center. It falls in front of Williams. So a leadoff single once again for the Red Sox here in the second. Fox Sports Net game break. Phillies at the Cubs, top of the ninth, tied at 7. Ruben Amaro grounds to Mark Grace, who boots it and tosses to first. Nobody covering. Greg Jeffries comes in to score, and the Phillies defeat the Cubs 8-7. They came back from a 7-1 deficit. And here at Yankee Stadium, Yankees with a 2-0 lead, 2 runs in the bottom of the first, as Mike Benjamin steps in, batting .327 with a hit in 7 consecutive games. With his single, Troy O'Leary has extended his hitting streak now to 12 games. Benjamin starting at second tonight. Mark Lemke came back on Monday, played 1 game, and is back on the DL now with post-concussion syndrome. And the runner O'Leary going, but Benjamin fouls it off. 1-1.
No, I think that was a hit and run. And really what the whole theory of a hit and run is, if you put the hit and run on, it means you're running your runner, you're trying to get an infielder out of position, and then your hitter has to defend to make sure he puts the ball in play. And Jimmy Williams is a very aggressive manager, and that ball was up in the strike zone. Benjamin was lucky to even get the bat on that ball.
To the left side. Soho to not block for 1. Did Swain stay on? Yes. A 5-4-3 double play as Dale Swain did a good job keeping his left foot on the bag at first.
Well, this was done very well. You teach your infielders to make sure of one. So when Soho got the ball, he didn't rush. He threw a strike to Knobloch, and Knobloch turned and made the throw to first and pulled Swain off just a little bit. He stayed on the base, but he realized to stretch for it. This is a high breaking ball, and you can see Soho take his time, make sure of one at second base. Knobloch then throws right over the head of the runner, and Swain stayed on just long enough.
So 2 away for Darren Bragg, the number 8 hitter, 4 of 14 lifetime against David Wells. Bragg had the game-winning hit on Friday night in the 5-4 victory over the Yankees. A 2-run single in the 7th inning off Mike Stanton. But the Red Sox would lose the next 2. And then they dropped 2 to the Toronto Blue Jays. So Boston has lost 4 in a row. They won a club record 18 games in April. Reached the 20 victory mark by May 3rd, quickest in team history. But they've struggled as of late, 7-9 with Garcia-Parra on the DL. As Bragg takes a strike, 2-1. Red Sox have been outscored 48-14 during their 4-game losing streak. The 2-1 to Bragg. Fouled back, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I think when you think about the Red Sox, they surprised everybody getting off as well as they did. Jim Williams, of course, accustomed to success, longtime third base coach of the Braves, but they don't have a whole lot of depth in their pitching rotation. They lost Brian Rose. Butch Henry's out for the season with a knee problem. Robinson Checo went to the minor leagues, got hit in the face with a line drive.
The curve is a called strike 3. So for the 2nd consecutive inning, Wells ends the inning with a called strike 3. Lairidge in the first, and now Bragg here in the 2nd. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Canon. So advanced, it's simple. Tim Wakefield allowed 2 Yankee runs in the first. Posada, Soho, and Swain, bottom of the order. Here in the 2nd inning, Jorge Posada leads it off. Posada batting .245 on the season, only 1 for 16 during the Yankees' 6-game road trip. But he's done a terrific job behind the plate this season. Received much of the credit following David Wells' perfect game against the Twins.
He's one of the best young receivers in the game. Switch hitter, got some pop in his bat. They really like him here in New York.
Fouled off down the first base line, 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
They just fouled it off his front foot. He's got a shin guard on. A lot of hitters who are low ball hitters, you can see him reaching down. Now that really hurts. If you ever foul a ball off your foot, it's like dropping a boulder on it. It really hurts. But he has that shin guard there because he'll take the inside pitch and hit it down foul off his instep. Now there's that high knuckleball, and right now you see the guard, but right now Tim Wakefield's having a little trouble controlling this knuckleball. He's up in the zone too much with it.
And the 2-2 pitch, base hit into center field. So Posada, who had been one of his last 16, leads off the second with a single to center. Jeff, every night on Fox Sports Net, it's Fox Sports News Prime Time. All the scores, all the highlights, all the breaking stories, covering your hometown team 7 nights a week. We are there. Fox Sports News Prime Time. Nobody out. Posada the runner on at first base for Luis Sojo. Posada going, and a line drive and a double play. 4 unassisted. Line drive, and Benjamin was on the move.
You know, there's one of those moves where the manager makes it to try to get somebody out of position. If that were not a hit and run, that would have been a base hit. Benjamin was going over to cover second base, and the line drive was hit right to him. Here's Sojo, got the hit and run sign, is hitting the fastball out over the plate, and the hit and run runs Benjamin right into the ball.
Benjamin says, look what I found. So quickly 2 away as it falls in between the second baseman Benjamin and the center fielder Lewis. A base hit for Dale Swaim, inserted into the starting lineup about 1 hour before first pitch. Tino Martinez was scheduled to start at first tonight, but instead it's Swaim making his 9th start of the season, 6th in the last 7 games. There's Tino. The original injury caused when he was hit by the Armando Benitez pitch, and then he jammed his shoulder sliding into third base in Boston on Friday in the 1 game he played since his return, and he has missed 6 games since then. And a called strike 1. Chuck Knobloch walked and scored his first time up.
I talked to Tino before the game, and I asked him what was hurting more, the jammed shoulder or the spot where he got hit by Benitez. He said the spot where he got hit by Benitez really still hurts him.
And Knobloch with a drive to left, and it bounces into the stands. A ground rule double. So with 2 outs, Yankees have runners on second and third.
Well, when Knobloch first came up, he was strictly a right field hitter with the Twins, but he has changed his approach. He'll hit the right field still now, but in certain situations he'll turn on the ball. And this was a break for the Red Sox that this bounced in the stands. If this had hit that wall out there and carried around, I think that Swaim would have scored. Here's the knuckleball. You see, it's still up. He's getting everything up in the middle of the plate. Here's the ball hitting the warning track and bouncing into the stands. If that hits that wall there, it'll probably bounce away from O'Leary. There's a chance the Yankees would have another run.
2 outs, second and third for Derek Jeter, who flies to right his first time up. Jeter leads the American League in runs scored. He's third in hits with 67. And he takes a strike from the home plate umpire Al Clark. John Hirschback working down at first. Ted Barrett at second base, and Jim Joyce is the third base umpire.
Kenny, there was a good example of the good knuckleball. It started down and went farther down. There's Jeter 2 in a row.
Fouls it back, 0-2.
What the problem is when it starts up, it doesn't dance enough, because if you push it out high, it doesn't rotate much. If it dances at all, it'll come right down into the hitting zone. But if it starts down and then starts to dart even lower, that's when it's most effective.
Wakefield has allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, and he strikes out Jeter. The throw from Varitek down to Vaughn, and that does it for the Yankees in the second. They strand 2 and still lead the Red Sox by the score of 2-0. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. First of a 4-game set. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Tim Wakefield cooling off. He stranded 2 Yankees in the second by striking out Derek Jeter. And now the bottom of the order for the Red Sox. Jason Varitek will bat for the first time tonight, batting .263 on the season. And we mentioned earlier, the Red Sox 17-3 with Varitek behind the plate. And he fouls the first pitch from Wells. Back behind first base, 0-1.
First time I saw Varitek, he was an All-American, a two-time All-American at Georgia Tech. In fact, he was the Player of the Year 2 consecutive years at Georgia Tech. And I did a TV telecast of the College World Series. He had a home run right-handed in the light towers in Omaha, and I thought he was a better hitter left-handed first seeing him.
0-2.
Big, strong kid. Well, unfortunately, the business of the game got in the way, and he did not go out and play pro ball. He didn't sign. He held out. He had been drafted by Seattle, held out a whole year. That never helps a young player, but he's really worked hard. No one thought he was going to make this Red Sox team out of spring training.
On the inside corner, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He was acquired last season from the Mariners in the Heathcliff Slocum deal, along with pitcher Derek Lowe. And he split the catching duties this season with Scott Hatterberg. 2-2.
Well, he's a big, tough guy. He's a kind of a kid that would be a heck of a leader when he got a little more experience at the major league level. And the fact that he's really improved his catching. When he was in college, he was known as a very offensive catcher, but did not have the great tools they felt behind the plate. But he's really improved.
Curveball is strike 3. So Wells has struck out 3 Red Sox looking.
And every one of them that struck out on curveballs. He's got that big curveball, and it can really be effective. He sets it up with a good fastball. Now here's the downer curve. See it go down? Boom. You know, when you've got a guy throwing 90 plus miles an hour with a fastball and runs the ball in on you to set you up with maybe a little cutter, then drops a slower curveball over with big break going in a different plane, sometimes it locks you up. It surprises you.
Here's Darren Lewis, who singled to lead off the game. David Wells tied for 8th in the American League in the strikeout department. Has 3 so far tonight. He's allowed 3 base hits. Now 2-0 on Lewis.
You know, he's been a big horse. I mean, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory sense. He's been a guy that you could count on for innings. Since he became a starting pitcher, you know he's going to go out there. He's going to throw strikes. He was a relief pitcher for most of his career with Toronto. But after that, he became a starter and gives you big innings.
Base hit up the middle. So Darren Lewis now 2 for 2. And Jeff, time for another Fox Sports game break. The Mariners and the Devil Rays. Edgar Martinez goes deep. His 8th home run of the season. It hits the lights in upper deck. And the upper deck off Jamie Johnson. Mariners with a 5-0 lead over the Devil Rays. Lou Piniella managing in his hometown of Tampa for the first time. And they changed the ground rules just the other day in Tampa. 3 home runs or 3 balls had been hit, which were not home runs, off the catwalk at the Dome down in St. Petersburg. And earlier this week, the American League, reacting to a petition from the Devil Rays, changed the ground rules in mid-season.
Yeah, a couple of those home runs they said would have been gargantuan home runs if they had not hit the catwalk. And then they broke a light tower, and all the light glass came flowing down onto the field during play. You've got to do something about that. That's a dome stadium, of course, and a little low in certain areas.
And the 1-0 pitch, ground ball to the charging third baseman Soho. They get 1. The force at second to retire Lewis. 2 away.
Well, this is a nice play by Soho. It doesn't look like it's too tough a play, but it could be. As you're running across to cut a ball off like this, you got to make sure you stay down on the ball, because it's taking funny bounces. It's hit off the end of the bat. And here comes Soho cutting it off. You see how he just held the glove down and he short hopped the ball. That's a nice play.
2 outs in the 3rd. Here's Garcia Parra. Fly to center. His first time up. 0-1. We have the last 2 American League rookies of the year tonight. Both shortstops. Jeter in '96 and Garcia Parra last year.
Boy, it's fun to watch outstanding young kids play. Both these guys are exceptional players. Alex Rodriguez, of course, with Seattle in that same class.
And the 0-1 from Wells, now 0-2.
That's got to be a little tough for Garciaparra coming back. You know, remember he had a shoulder problem. So if you have shoulder problem, you can't be taking practice swings. Last night in the exhibition game, he didn't get the ball out of the infield. It takes a while, but this guy is a very talented player and is really the catalyst of this Red Sox team, even with the other talent they have here on this club.
Garciaparra fouls it off. Remember, Wells has ended both the first and the second innings with called strike threes. And an 0-2 count on Garciaparra.
Well, this one's got to hurt. He's not going to be thinking about his shoulder after this one. He fouls a breaking ball off his inside of his left foot or shin. That has to hurt.
That's the easiest way to forget about a prior injury. Ooh. Valentin, the runner on first, as Wells checks the signs from Posada. 2 outs, top of the third inning from Yankee Stadium. And the 0-2 pitch just misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
They tried to run that ball in. They're going to set something up away. You might see a curveball here. They're trying to keep Garciaparra honest by showing the ball from the middle in, and then probably drop off a slow curveball. That has been basically their way of operating tonight.
Big Mo on deck. And the 1-2 is fouled back. A McGuire-esque scene during batting practice as Vaughn was hitting them out.
Oh.
You could hear the ovation from the fans here at Yankee Stadium, the early arrivals. And there was certainly a buzz around the stadium when Vaughn stepped into the batting cage about an hour and a half before game time.
You're not kidding. In this ballpark, you get a power-hitting left-hander hitting them into the upper deck here consistently, and the fans really get excited.
The 1-2 to Garciaparra, and he fouls another one off his ankle.
I shouldn't laugh because that hurts, but that was a curveball. That was a slow curveball. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of hitters foul off the breaking ball that's down into their front foot. Now here's the breaking ball. He comes over the top of it and hits right, almost right in the same spot that he had already fouled the other pitch off on. Ooh.
Now he's certainly forgotten about the shoulder.
Yeah. You see him tapping his toes. That's not because he hit a foul ball off his foot. That's what he does all the time. That's his timing device.
In the air to deep right. O'Neill back on the track. It's off the wall. And Garciaparra held to a long single. But he fought his way through. Fouled off 3 or 4 in a row.
You're not kidding. This is a good at bat, but it's also a great defensive play by Paul O'Neill. This is as long a single as you're going to see. Garciaparra found a couple balls off his foot, gets this ball low and away, and stays with it and shoots it to right field. But watch O'Neill. He knows how to play this wall. He knows it's over his head, so he's getting in position immediately for the ball to come off the wall and fires a bullet to second base.
How about the dent in the right field wall?
Yeah, that was a bullet.
So a 314-foot single for Garciaparra. 2 outs for Mo Vaughn, who singled back in the first inning. And runners on the corners. Valentin down at third base. And Garciaparra on at first. Held on by Dale Swain.
Now there was a throw over to first base. That's just a courtesy throw over because I don't think they'll run here. You got a left-handed power hitter. You want to take a chance of getting a runner thrown out at second with 2 runners on with your big power hitter at the plate. Not in Yankee Stadium when he's left-handed and Mo Vaughn.
Vaughn had been locked into the number 3 spot in the order. Batting cleanup tonight, and some of our fellow media members trying to get Mo to react to the switch before the game, but he said, I'm not upset. You just do what you got to do. The manager pencils you in, and I just go out and play.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. And that's what you get paid to do, and that was a good answer. You know, you just all this trying to manage and play too. It's too tough a game to do that.
Strike called, 1-1.
Notice how Jorge Posada, the catcher, as soon as he catches the ball, he gets out so he can see where Garcia Parra, the base runner at first base, is. When you've got a big left-handed hitter hitting with a runner at first base, it blocks off the whole right side of the infield, so you can't see. Here's Posada. Now you know he cannot see Garcia Parra at first base, so especially on a breaking ball, as soon as he catches, he gets out where he can see him.
And the 1-1, Vaughn pops it foul back behind the Red Sox dugout. 1-2. Vaughn, most valuable player back in 1995, put up even better numbers in 96. Hit 35 home runs last year. Has 13 so far this season.
Well, he's a good hitter without a doubt. When you see high average like that with a guy that does an exception to run exceptionally well, very consistent power hitter, and a left-handed hitter, Fenway, who can hit the ball out of the ballpark from left field to right field to center field. He's just, and of course Jim Rice, his hitting coach, there was a guy that had Hall of Fame numbers.
He can probably still hit.
I think he can.
A 1-2 from Wells, and Vaughn fights it off. Stays alive with 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. Runners on the corners for the Red Sox, who trail the Yankees 2-0.
You know, when you watch a hitter like Vaughn, when he first came up, was a dead low ball hitter. Had trouble with anything above his waist. Well, he's adjusted. If you take a look at his head, he does something a lot of hitters cannot do, and that's where he tilts his head to the side. In other words, instead of having his eyes level, his left eye is lower than his right eye. Most people have trouble doing that because it gives a funny perspective to the breaking ball. But now he's facing a left-hander, and if David Wells can get a breaking ball low and away against him, he can be effective.
2-2.
Well, he didn't get it away. It was a breaking ball. It was down and started in and almost came over the plate. But see Mo's head on an angle. A lot of kids and players are not as coordinated as Vaughn. As you can see him come up off that ball, could not hit that way. You teach youngsters to keep both eyes level as you look at the pitcher, but obviously it's not slowing him down any.
The 2-2 from Wells, and again Vaughn fouls it off back behind third base. Vaughn's numbers down with Garcia Parra out of the lineup. Only a .222 average, 6 runs batted in those 16 games.
You know, Kenny, I just thought of something. I was broadcasting a game a couple years ago when Mo Vaughn hit 3 home runs off of David Wells. You can see the red cross right in the middle. That's where Mo really handles the ball, right through the middle of the plate. But he hit 3 home runs in a game off of David Wells in Fenway 2 years ago, 2 of them being the left field.
He hit a home run Saturday off Wells as well. But this time, David Wells wins the battle. Wells has ended all 3 innings so far, striking out the victim. And the Red Sox leave 2 men on in the 3rd. Mo Vaughn struck out to end the top of the 3rd with 2 Red Sox on. Now bottom 3rd, Paul O'Neill leads it off for the Yankees against Tim Wakefield. O'Neill doubled in a run and then came around to score the Yankees' 2nd run after the 1st inning.
We talk about Paul O'Neill being such a consistent player and being so hot lately. Of course, a week ago he signed an extension, and he is the kind of guy that has made this Yankee ball club very professional since he's been here. It's not just coincidental that they started winning once he got here.
And we flash back to inning number 1 with a runner on first and 1 out. O'Neill doubles to the wall in left center, scoring Knobloch. O'Neill's 38th run batted in of the season. Yankees leading 2-0, and the 0-2 from Wakefield. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, there with 2 strikes on him. Here's this ball. It's that knuckle ball that starts low and really sinks. But take a look at what O'Neill has done, where he stands with Mattingly, Mantle, Sternweiss. You're talking about some outstanding hitters in the history of this franchise, and this is a very proud franchise. I was a coach here for 10 years, and boy, I was very proud to put the Yankee pinstripes on. But when you see O'Neill come over this ball club from the National League and be so effective once he got here. One of the reasons is because he uses the whole field here. You'd think that a left-handed hitter coming to Yankee Stadium would shoot for the short porch in right field. But here are the batting champions that the Yankees have had in the past. Of course, I was here when Don Mattingly was here. What a great career he had until he hurt his back.
And O'Neill bounces it back to the box. Wakefield over to Vaughn. One away in the bottom of the third.
Kenny, that's embarrassing. You swing at a knuckleball and it goes about 4 feet in front of the plate and the pitcher throws you out.
So Wakefield retires the leadoff man for the first time in 3 innings. Jeff, this Sunday on NFL Europe, Mario Bailey and Dolphin gunner Damon Heward lead the Galaxy against Bear wideout Chris Miller and Bills quarterback Jim Ballard as the Claymores come to town. The Frankfurt Galaxy and the Scottish Claymores this Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings. One away, here's Bernie Williams, who walked his first time up. Williams working on a 7-game hitting streak. 3 for 5 with 5 RBI last night. And he hurt his knee last night in the field. Banged it into a post in right center at Comiskey Park. Williams 11 for 28 during the Yankees 6-game road trip. 1-2.
Well, if you're watching the kind of movement that you see on Wakefield's knuckleball, the first one he threw dropped in, started about belt high, dropped into the strike zone for a strike. Then one was too high because it started too high. And then the last one, the bottom fell out of it because he started it lower. He's making an adjustment. There's one's too high. Bernie Williams fouls it off. But also it gives you an idea why the Yankee ball club has been so tough, because they stay on every pitch. Now here's the knuckleball. You can see that fingernails up on the ball and the spin of the ball, and that one just rolled in on Bernie Williams, and it was up, and he just fought it off. The tough one to hit is the one is down right there.
Bernie Williams leading the American League, Jeff, in on-base percentage.
Well, those runs scored are very important.
But this time he is a strikeout victim. Strikeout number 2 for Tim Wakefield.
Now this was a very strange knuckleball. You can see where he gets it into the glove with the knuckles are up. Both knuckles are up on the ball. Then when he delivers this one he gets alongside of it, and it goes like a slider. It doesn't go down, it slides across.
So here's Darryl Strawberry, popped out in the first inning. Now 5 of 17 lifetime against Wakefield. Strawberry has not homered since May 2nd in Kansas City. Only 6 for his last 36.
Now here's what they would call the Ted Williams shift. You can see 3 infielders on the right side of the infield.
And Strawberry hits this one to deep right field. Brad going back. And it is gone. His first homer since May 2nd.
Kenny, they put the shift on, but they weren't playing deep enough and high enough to catch this one. This was a shot. And a do-nothing knuckleball is the kind of pitch that Darryl Strawberry can hammer. He is one of those guys that makes mistake pitches go a long way.
His 8th home run of the season, which leads the Yankees. He was tied with Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams with 7 apiece. Here's another look.
Look at that ball. See, now that was spinning a little bit, and it was right in the middle of the plate, and Darryl Strawberry has this big hitch in his swing, and he was right on time and hit that ball a long way.
Remember, Strawberry appealed his suspension after sitting out 2 games in order to face Wakefield on Friday. He went 0 for 4, but gets back at Tim Wakefield here tonight. His 3rd career home run in 18 at-bats against Wakefield.
Well, the Yankee team, when I was coaching here for 10 years, never were successful without a good power-hitting left-handed hitter. And once Reggie Jackson left, the Yankees had a problem. Well, George Steinbrenner took a chance with Darryl Strawberry after the problems that he had. And boy, does he give these guys an extra weapon. We were talking about their depth. Tim Raines is another guy that fits in because Chili Davis, the DH whom they signed away from Kansas City, got hurt right in the beginning of the season. Well, Darryl Strawberry and Tim Raines have stepped it up. This Yankee team is very deep, but Strawberry can be an awesome weapon. When he gets hot, he can carry a ball club. And has he got a renewed outlook on life, not just baseball.
And on the field this year, 8 home runs in only 96 at bats. Full count now on Tim Raines, who popped out back in the first inning. 799 career stolen bases.
Well, he played for me when I managed the White Sox. Great guy in a club also.
All 4, so Raines heads down to first. He's stolen 4 this year. The only 3 in baseball history who have stolen more bases than Tim Raines: Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, and Ty Cobb. He has 799.
Well, this would be the kind of pitcher that he would steal off of. Now, even though Wakefield is very quick to first base, he got a quick pickoff move that a knuckleballer has to have, and can speed it up to the plate. Remember, the ball only comes in around 68, 72 miles an hour. If Tim Raines gets a good jump, he could steal it. It's awful very difficult. You see Veritek going out right now talking to Wakefield. It's on Veritek's mind now. You know, he's having a tough enough time catching the ball, not to mention trying to get it out of that big glove. He threw the ball into left field before, but very difficult. Tim Raines is a very intelligent base runner. Now he'll get out as far as he thinks he can, where he can take a stride and a dive back. So what he'll do is work his way out. He's not very far now. Now he'll probably get another stride out a little bit farther.
Now 2-0 on Jorge Posada, who singled his first time up.
Here goes Veritek again, and now Joe Kerrigan going to the mound. I don't know what this is all about. Now Kerrigan is an outstanding pitching coach. He really, I heard an interview before the game today how wise he is, not just about each pitcher's mechanics, but also statistics of how he wants his pitchers to pitch and how he can communicate it. I would think right here on what he was talking about is don't worry about Tim Raines. Think about your mechanics and just throw strikes from the middle of the plate and let the ball work. Willie Randolph on the left, giving the signs to Tim Raines. Now Posada is not even looking at Willie now, so this is all basically, normally when you have a base runner like Tim Raines, he's on his own. The only thing he'll do is stop him with a sign. In other words, he can go if he wants to normally, but if Willie Randolph gets a sign from Joe Torre and tells him don't run here, let your left-hander try to pull the ball through the right side, then all he's doing is stopping him.
2 outs, 2-0 on Posada. Strike called, 2-1.
Okay, now's the count. You might see something if Tim Raines has any idea of running. When he first came over to the American League and joined us with the White Sox, he wasn't running. I said, Rock, what's the matter? How come you're not running? He said, I just don't know the pitchers yet.
Posada fouls it back. Veritek chasing. And lands in the 10th row. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I was brought up with a Dodger ball club, and the captain was Maury Wills, who to me was the greatest student of base running that I was ever around. Willie Randolph, the third base coach, was a good base stealer, good base runner for the Yankees when he was a captain here. And Tim Raines also, but Tim is to the point now he's had problems with his legs over the years, so unless he's sure he can get a good jump, he won't go.
Foul back once again, 2-2.
How about that success rate we just saw, 85%? But I wasn't sure when he first came to me why he wasn't running. I figured, you know, this kind of base runner will go anytime he can. He just was unsure of the pitchers in the league. Obviously now he knows most of the pitchers in the league, in the American League, but he also knows his own legs.
Raines bluff, and Posada fouls another one off. Raines, of course, had spent all those years, 10 years with the Montreal Expos before heading to the White Sox. This is 3rd year with the Yankees. 18th major league season. And again, Wakefield throws over.
Yeah, Wakefield's got a real quick move. I was just thinking about Tim Raines. He's got a son, they call his son Little Rock, who is a very, very fine high school player down in Florida, and he might be a first-round draft choice.
All three, 3-2. Wakefield has already walked 3 Yankees. Well above his average of only 1.8 walks per 9 innings, which was 6th best in the American League. He retired the first 2 Yankees here in the 3rd. Strawberry homered, and then he walked Raines. Raines on the move, and Posada pops it up into shallow center. The catch is made by Lewis, and that retires the Yankees in the 3rd. But they score another run on Darryl Strawberry's 8th home run of the season. Back to Yankee Stadium. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted without written consent. You saw second-year Yankee Hideki Irabu, and what a season he is having so far. 7 starts, 4-0, and he leads the American League with an earned run average of 1.13. Second is Pedro Martinez of the Red Sox at 2.36. So Irabu leading the ERA race by over 1 run per game.
Well, they tried to rush him last year with no spring training, coming to New York, never having pitched in the United States. It was a very difficult adjustment for him last year. He had a terrible time. But this year, with a full spring training under his belt, he's proven he's a darn good pitcher.
Jim Leyritz leads off the 4th against David Wells and fouls off the first pitch. There's Irabu leading the way, 1.13. Joe Torre said that if Irabu is selected for the All-Star game, Mike Hargrove better learn Japanese in a hurry. And Torre also said the league would have to take his translator George Rose as well. Although a number of Yankees have said as of late that Irabu has really developed this year as far as his personality, joking around in the clubhouse, getting along with his teammates. And Leyritz with a blast to left center. And this one is gone in Monument Park. So Jim Leyritz, the former Yankee, comes back and hits his 8th home run, and now he's hearing the boos from the crowd. Some cheers.
Well, I'll tell you what, Leyritz has been a good hitter. We talked earlier about how nice a power stroke he has to right field, but if he's looking for a ball up over the plate, he can also turn on it. He's very strong. And he drove that ball over the 399 sign in left field. That was a shot.
So a leadoff homer in the 4th.
And here's the pitch from David Wells. You'll see where it is on the plate. Not that bad a pitch. It's out over. Leyritz just does a nice job of hooking that ball and hitting it out of left center field here.
Leyritz hit 3 home runs against the Yankees last year with the Angels and the Texas Rangers. Troy O'Leary behind, no balls, 1 strike. O'Leary singled to lead off the 2nd inning and hits this one hard into left, but Raines makes the catch. 1 away in the 4th, and it's time for another Fox Sports Net game break. Rockies and the Cardinals in St. Louis. Bottom of the 4th. Rockies leading at 1-0, and Brian Jordan doubles down the left field line off Jamie Wright scoring. Mark McGwire and Ray Lankford. Cardinals win it 4-1. McGwire 1 for 2 with a single. As Mark McGwire continues his chase for the record books, Mike Benjamin, the batter for the Boston Red Sox. Benjamin grounded into a double play his first time up. McGwire with 25 home runs in 51 games.
It's amazing, isn't it? Boy, you know, for a while, a couple years ago, they thought his career was over. He batted around 200. He had trouble seeing. His contacts were bothering him. He just didn't swing the bat very well. Boy, what a story he's become. You know, I was also thinking about the home run that David Wells just gave up. He's the kind of guy that doesn't mess around. He wants to throw the ball over. If you tap him for a home run, okay, so be it. Make sure it's a single and home run. He gave up 24 home runs last year while pitching for the Yankees. The year before with the Orioles, he gave up 32 home runs. That comes with a guy that throws the ball over the plate a lot.
And a ground ball to the shortstop, Jeter, and he throws out. Benjamin 2 away here in the 4th. Well, this season, Wells has now allowed 13 home runs, tied with Dennis Springer of the Devil Rays second most in the American League. Only Charles Nagy has allowed more home runs than Wells.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. Now, as a manager, I'd be sitting in the dugout saying, I would rather see a guy throw the ball over the plate and give his infielders a chance to field the ball or his outfielders to catch fly balls and take a chance on a single and home run rather than walking people deep in the count, high pitch counts. Your defense gets on its heels. Mel Stottlemyre on the right, the pitching coach, outstanding pitcher here in his own right, all-star for the Yankees. Joe Torre, of course, the manager on the left. Joe, an outstanding catcher in his day, so he knows pitching very well.
2-0 on Darren Bragg, who was called out on strikes back in the second inning. And a slow roller foul down the first base line. 2-1. Yankees 3 and the Red Sox 1. Yankees scored 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning. Paul O'Neill with an RBI double came around to score on an error by the third baseman Valentin, and then a solo home run off the bat of Darryl Strawberry in the bottom of the third. Jim Leyritz answered with a solo shot here in the fourth. And Bragg hits this one well to right center. Rolls to the wall. And Bragg makes the turnaround second, then heads back. A 2-out double. His 11th 2-base hit of the season.
Well, Bragg lined his ball in the right field and thought about possibly going to third base, but the first baseman will follow the runner on a ball like that in the alley, will follow the runner to second base. Now here's the pitch from David Wells. Remember, left against left now. This is right in the middle of the plate. The ball goes up the right center field alley, and Bragg gives it a thought about possibly going to third base, but knows that Dale Swaim is trailing him down to second base, so he pulls up and stops.
So with 2 outs and Bragg the runner on second, here's the catcher Jason Varitek, who's called out on strikes to lead off the third inning, and he takes strike one.
Now Bragg is a real hustler, as you can see. Here he goes. He's hustling now. He knows he's got at least 2, and he's thinking about 3. That's a good aggressive base running. See, he didn't have to look at the coach at third base. When the ball is in front of you, you don't have to look for help. If the ball were to be down the right field line for the youngsters out there, and you're rounding second base, as you head into second, that's Wendell Kim, the third base coach, you would have to look up before you got to second base to look for help.
A combined 0 for 5 tonight with runners in scoring position. And a 1-1 count on Jason Varitek. Ground ball to the left side. Jeter fires across. And Varitek is the final out of the Red Sox 4th. But they score a run against Wells. A leadoff home run off the bat of Leyritz. And Jeter finishes things off for the Yankees. Yankees over the Red Sox 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Well, Joe Torre, Mel Stottlemyre, and the Yankees can be seen this Saturday. It's the season premiere of the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Don't miss these same 2 clubs, the Red Sox and the Yankees, this Saturday, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern and Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area on Fox. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver will be right here at Yankee Stadium. For the Yankees and the Sox, the third of a 4-game series, it will be Hideki Arabu with his perfect 4-0 record against Brett Saberhagen, who won his first 5 decisions this season, but has lost his last 3 with an ERA of 17.10 over those last 3 starts. Saberhagen and Arabu on Saturday as Luis Sojo leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Yankees with a base hit into center field. It drops in front of Lewis. Sojo now 1 for 2. And Brett Saberhagen, Jeff, pitched for you with the New York Mets.
He sure did. He hurt his shoulder badly. He had a very big shoulder operation. He's got a metal anchor in his shoulder, and He was really one of the keys to the great start that the Red Sox got. As you mentioned, he was 5-0. He's still young. He's won 2 Cy Youngs. He's hungry. He's a great athlete. That's a great story if he's able to pull it back to where he had it earlier in the year.
A dry foul off the bat of Dale Swaim down the first base line. Saberhagen looking to win Comeback Player of the Year for the second time. An award Tim Wakefield won back in '95.
I don't think that's an award you really want to win a couple times. You know, maybe once, but Brett Young was traded over to us with the Mets, and this guy is some competitor.
And Swaim with a liner right to Benjamin. Remember earlier, Benjamin turned the unassisted double play on a line drive off the bat of Soho, who this time slides back into first. And Jeff in Baltimore, bottom of the 4th inning. Lenny Webster of the Orioles singles to center off Bobby Witt. 4-1 Orioles in the bottom of the 6th as Surhoff and Alomar come in to score. So Baltimore turning things around. They lost 9 in a row, but have picked things up a bit over the last week as Dale Swaim was retired. It's Chuck Knobloch who takes strike 1. Knobloch a double his last time up. Also walked and scored a run back in the 1st inning.
Knobloch has gotten off to a slow start, or at least did get off to a slow start, and really picked it up last weekend against the Red Sox. And that's the amazing thing about the Yankees. They've gotten this great start, and they haven't had all their cylinders hitting on the same tone together, which is amazing that they have gotten off to such a great start. But it seems like everybody picks each other up, and you see Knobloch is an all-star 4 times, and this guy can play. He does so many things for you, and he has really made this Yankee lineup look altogether different. Front end of the order, he can steal. 62 stolen bases last year.
And he hits this one hard into left center. Another base hit for Knobloch, heading for second, and he's safe.
This is the kind of play that he brings to the Yankees. Now, this Yankee team is professional anyway and in a hustling ball club. But you add an all-star who can run, make things happen the way Knobloch does, and is such a hard-nosed player. This is a great slide to get into second base. Here he comes into second. Watch this slide. The throw is a little bit to the first base side. He slides out and reaches back. Great slide. Just a great slide. Nice effort by Benjamin to try to make the tag. But Knobloch makes a super slide.
Second and third, one out. Knobloch's second double of the game. Soho down at third. Infield in. And it gets away from Varitek. The scoop to the plate. And the Yankees lead it 4-1.
Well, with a good throw there, Soho is out. But Varitek doesn't know that. When the ball gets by you, got to bust back to get it. And sometimes when you try to underhand the ball sticks to your hand, and it comes out of your hand high. Great camera shot. Here's the pitch. The ball hits in the dirt, bounces up, and Varitek is fast on the ball. But see, he underhands the ball, kind of sticks in his hand, and is high. If that ball is at the plate, down low, Soho is out. You can see Varitek, young catcher, taking it hard because he works hard at what he's trying to do, but that wasn't his fault. He blocked that ball in the dirt and couldn't keep it in front of him.
Soho scored the Yankees' 4th run. Knobloch moves over to third. Infield remains in. Jeter 0 for 2. Struck out his last time up. Jeter among 4 Yankees in the top 8 in batting average. Brocious not playing tonight. He is second behind Pudge Rodriguez. 2-1.
You know, it's amazing. Here's Brocious, number 2 in the American League in hitting. He's not in the lineup tonight, and the guy that replaced him just got a base hit and scored. That's the kind of depth the Yankees have.
Brocious with a tight hamstring and a bruised ankle sitting this one out. He was 10 for 19 on the Yankees' recent 6-game road trip. 2-2.
Derek Jeter is not having a good time swinging at this knuckleball. This guy is a good young hitter, as you mentioned, and He can look bad on a couple pitches, though. If he gets a knuckleball up a little bit that doesn't do much, he's liable to drive the ball. But right now, he's thinking about, I got to put this ball in play. I got to battle. Just hit this thing.
And he fouls it back behind first base. So the count remains 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Yankees 4 and the Red Sox 1. Getting back to Knobloch, who's the runner on third. He's just killed the Red Sox this season. A grand slam on Saturday. Drove in 4 more runs on Sunday. And you see Jeter, 364 with runners in scoring position. And he fouls another one off. 2-2.
He's hacking up there right now. I tell you, the guy that's having the most difficult time is Jason Varitek, the young catcher. Now with a runner at third base and a knuckleballer pitching, I'll tell you what, it is a terrible feeling because you're not sure where the ball is going. You're just boxing, just trying to knock it down. There it goes.
Another one deflects off the glove this time of Varitek. Knobloch scores the Yankees' 5th run.
Kenny, I've been there before. That is an awful feeling. You're defending down because the knuckleball goes more down. We've said that all night, and that one is up and just shoots over his head. And it is really just a thankless job trying to catch this. And here's a shot from behind Wakefield. You know it's a knuckleball. You can see the fingers up on the ball, and it stays up. And Varitek is ready to go and make the move to catch it coming down, and it never comes down. And I'll tell you another thing. It is a long run from home plate back to the screen here with all these fans screaming at you, and you know that 2 runs have just scored. Very difficult job.
And now Jimmy Williams heading out to the pitcher's mound. How about this, Jeff? Wakefield, in his 10 starts prior to tonight, had not thrown a wild pitch to this inning.
Well, right from the beginning, he didn't look like he had real good knuckleball or a good feel for it.
So Wakefield lasts only 3 1/3. And he leaves trailing 5-1. Friends of Jeff Torborg in the crowd here at Yankee Stadium, with the Yankees leading the Red Sox by the score of 5-1. As manager Jimmy Williams has seen enough of Tim Wakefield. We'll give you the new Red Sox pitcher in just a moment, but first, we want to remind you it's fight time on Fox. Every jab, every hook, every body blow, every uppercut. We're not talking about the Yankees and the Orioles, but fight time on Fox. The sweet science practiced by today's best fighters. Fight time on Fox. Check local listings for fight time in your area. And the new pitcher for the Red Sox, it is 25-year-old right-hander John Wasden, acquired in the Jose Canseco deal from the Oakland A's, originally a 41st round draft pick by the Yankees back in 1990. He did not sign and was then selected by the A's in the 1st round 40 rounds earlier 3 years later.
Well, his numbers aren't great, but he's the kind of guy that really helps a manager because he's the long reliever and spot starter. He can give you a lot of innings if your starter gets knocked out.
And Paul O'Neill with a slow roller to the right side, and the tag is made by Mo Vaughn as Jeter moves over to second. Not sure whether Vaughn would catch up to O'Neill.
You know, it's kind of funny. It looked like it was in slow motion a little bit. Here is Big Mo getting the ball, and he's taking it now. Oh, I got to get going over there. And he doesn't bust it to the base. He knows he can cut it short and tag him, which he did.
Jeff, a change in the official scoring. Only 1 wild pitch. The second just moments ago when Knobloch came in to score a pass ball charged to the catcher, Jason Varitek. So 1 wild pitch, 1 pass ball here in the 4th inning. And with 2 away, here's Bernie Williams. 0 for 1. Walked in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd. As Varitek heads out to chat with Wasden. Wasden hit hard by the Yankees on Saturday in relief of Derek Lowe. He pitched 3 2/3, allowed 3 runs on 5 hits. In that game, a 12-3 Yankees victory.
Veritek, when Wasden came into the game, went over the dugout and got a smaller glove and got rid of that knuckleball glove, which he was pleased to. Now he's got a much smaller glove and probably feels a lot more comfortable with it. That's a tough call, that pass ball that went up in the air over his head. That was a tough call.
Inside for ball 1. And over the Red Sox last 5 games, only one starting pitcher, Pedro Martinez, has made it into the 5th inning.
Yeah, that's hurt the Red Sox, because earlier when they were on such a good run, you know, they set an organizational record for wins in April. They got excellent starting pitching.
1 ball, 1 strike coming into this game. The earned run average of the Red Sox starters over the last 4, all losses, 13.8. And including Wakefield's performance tonight, in the last 19 1/3 over that 5-game stretch, the starters have allowed 29 runs. Runner on second now, 2 balls, 1 strike on Williams. Yankees only 3 losses here at home in 19 games, and they're batting .311, averaging 6 runs per game.
Well, add to that too that the Red Sox play much better at home. In fact, they're hitting over .300 in Fenway Park, and on the road they are actually 51 points lower. Now there's a great stop by Veritek after what's been happening to him with balls going all over the place. I don't know how he was able to turn his hand under and catch that ball there, but he's got that smaller glove and he can move his hands much quicker. But watch this one. This is over almost at Bernie's feet, and he gets a glove turn. He doesn't backhand it. He gets up and under the ball, and that's a nice play. But I guarantee you right now, his heart's pounding and his head is hurting thinking about what's happened to him in this game.
The 3-1 from Wasden. Ball 4, so Bernie Williams heads down to first. Wakefield walked 4. And now Wasden walks Williams. Runners on first and second for Darryl Strawberry, who homered to right his last time up.
Well, you can see that's not just the home run that Darryl hit that these people get excited about. This big guy at 6'6" comes to the plate with that sweet swing and that home run stroke. Gets people excited all the time.
And a ground ball to the right side. Vaughn takes it himself. And that does it for the Yankees in the 4th. They scored 2 more runs on a wild pitch and a pass ball and lead the Red Sox 5-1. Became the first catcher to use the big mitt. He was catching Hoyt Wilhelm in that game, and the mitt was 50% larger than the standard catcher's mitt. Nothing got by Courtney in that game. The Orioles beat the Yankees 3-2.
Yeah, that was Paul Richards was the manager of the Oriole Club, and he had been a catcher, and he developed that large glove. They had to cut that down by the rules now.
Aaron Lewis leads it off for the Red Sox here in the 5th inning against David Wells. Lewis 2 for 2 tonight as we check out his last at-bat in the 3rd as he singled up the middle.
Well, his last at-bat, he's a very good high ball hitter. He has been one of those guys that hasn't hit for high average, but he can handle the ball up. You saw him force that ball out of his kitchen, so to speak, just force the ball through the middle.
He had been 0 for 11 against Wells coming in tonight, 3 for 3.
He's getting the chance to play regularly again. Now, he had been a regular outfielder for the Giants, tremendous defensive center fielder, but over the last couple of years he's been in and out of the lineup. You get a guy that's a hard thrower who throws the fastball up in the strike zone. Darren Lewis can hit him.
In fact, Lewis holds the major league record for consecutive errorless games by a non-pitcher. He went 392 games without committing an error. And Lewis 3 for 3 tonight. 3 singles. He has 3 of Boston's 8 hits. Here's Valentine. And he takes ball 1 from Wells. 0 for 2 tonight. Only 6 of his last 39.
You know, Valentine's an interesting story. He wasn't very big when he came out of Seton Hall, where he played with Mo Vaughn. He wasn't a power hitter, but has since become one. Got an interesting stance. He kind of squats down before he hits.
And he hits this one in the air to left. Raines moving to his right on the edge of the warning track. One away. Here in the Red Sox fifth.
Well, I know we're playing at Yankee Stadium, but that ball in Fenway is up in that net. But Valentin is a guy, that's Tim Raines, of course, playing a tough left field here. This is a big left field. It's always been one of the tough left fields in all of baseball to play. Pretty stiff wind out there, and I'm not sure how it's playing. You look at the flags at Yankee Stadium, and sometimes they're blowing in one direction in the outfield, going another direction in the around the home plate area. As you can see right there, look at those flagpoles. One American flag's going to left field, the other is blown over toward right.
Omar Garcia-Parra swings and misses at strike one. Singled his last time up, 1 for 2, and we mentioned earlier, Garcia-Parra said yesterday it still hurts when he throws, and so far today no ground balls have gone his way over the first 4 innings. Lewis the runner on first, 1 out in the fifth. Yankees leading at 5-1. They've averaged 7.2 runs per David Wells start so far this season. One of the reasons Wells has gone 6-1. You talk about run support. They've scored over 9 runs per game for David Cone, who is also 6-1 like Wells. Cone's ERA is 6. Yet the Yankees have scored over 9 runs per game.
It helps to have some runs. It makes you a pitcher that has a little cushion. And watching Garcia-Parra hit, he goes through this whole routine all the time with his gloves, mannerisms, and then, as we mentioned before, where he taps his toes on the ground. What that does, that's timing, and gets his balance. See how it's forward and back, forward and back. And before you go to hit, you want to get your weight back, and this allows him to stay loose at the plate. Then he gets ready and is ready to hit.
Now back, so the count remains 0-2.
The different hitters have different techniques of timing at the plate. Now Jim Rice, who you're seeing right here, the hitting coach, he just flat out muscled as a hitter. I saw him check a swing one day, and the head of the bat broke right off the handle. He didn't even hit the ball. He was just checking the swing. And that was awesome. But what a good hitter and what a career he had for the Red Sox.
I want to see the ball.
Oh, man.
No balls, 2 strikes the count on Garcia-Parra. 1 away, 5th inning. And the runner going. Wells to first. And the throw rolls into left field. Aaron Lewis on his way to third.
Well, this is a mistake by Dale Swaim. Now remember, Swaim normally plays in the middle infield. He had been a shortstop in Milwaukee. He played second. He plays third. When you get a guy in a pickoff and you picked him off at first base, you got to step in the line a little bit. You got to step toward the grass so that you clear him when you throw the ball to second base. If you stay right where you caught the ball, now see the throw? The throw comes right into the runner. You've got to step into the infield and you got to throw overhand. You can't throw it sidearm because the ball will sink right back into the runner. Here's Dale. See, he takes it at first. Well, he did move into the infield, but he hit the runner with the ball because he threw it sidearm. And the ball tailed back in. So actually he did do it the right way, stepping up from first base.
Lewis credited with his 7th steal, and then an error charge to Swaim, allowing Lewis to move to third. Lewis was stranded on third base in the first inning. An 0-2 count on Garcia-Parra. 1 out, and now Al Clark, the home plate umpire, calls time with a couple of pieces of plastic blowing across the infield. And like the American flags, one blowing one way and the other piece of plastic blowing across. The 0-2 pitch, and Garcia-Parra strikes out. 5th strikeout for David Wells.
Now this is a fastball that David Wells challenges Garcia-Parra right in the middle of the plate. Actually, it's on the inner half of the plate, letter high, and he just threw it right by him.
2 outs for Mo Vaughn, who singled his first time up, and you see the 5 Ks. Vaughn, a strikeout victim in the third. Wells struck out 11 in his perfect game 2 Sundays ago here at Yankee Stadium. awarded the key to the city by Mayor Giuliani.
You know, David's funny. Whenever I think about him, you know, he's a very unassuming guy. He says, I don't know how I did. He said, look at me in this uniform. He said, I pitch a perfect game. The son of a gun is a heck of a competitor. He's one of those guys you call a warrior. You know, he gets into it with his manager at times, but he comes to pitch. He might not prepare exactly the way everybody would like.
And he has certainly become a fan favorite here at Yankee Stadium. The numbers from his perfect game against the Minnesota Twins. And this is first home start since then. Beat the Red Sox at Fenway on Saturday. Wells ahead, no balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. And the pitch to Vaughn. And he hits this one deep to right, no doubt about it. Home run number 14 for Mo Vaughn. And the 6th of his career against Wells. You mentioned, Jeff, 2 years ago, Vaughn hit 3 in one game against Wells, then a member of the Baltimore Orioles.
Well, this pitch was supposed to be inside, Kenny. We talked about in that 3-homer game that Mo hit a couple the other way. And normally the book on him is you can run the ball on his letters. Every hitter had ever lived. This ball was right on his letters, and he turned on that ball and hit a screaming line drive into that short right field porch. But watch where the pitch is. You see where Posada is set up inside. And this ball was inside. But Mo was just quick. Got the head of the bat out. David knows that Mo Vaughn has done that to a lot of people. He's not the only one, but that was a pretty good pitcher's pitch, believe it or not. It sure didn't end up that way, but pretty good hitting.
14th home run of the season for Vaughn, 2nd in 6 days against Wells. As Jim Leyritz, who homered in the 4th inning. Balls behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Vaughn now lifetime, Jeff, against Wells, 22 of 47.
That's awful. Well, maybe they didn't pitch him in enough, but I remember doing that game, and he had pulled one to right field, and then the next 2 times up he hit the ball to left field. This guy has become some good hitter. I remember when he first came out of college and joined the Red Sox, and you just wanted to stay out of low and in. That's the only place he hurt you, in the strike zone. Now obviously he can handle the ball up and in. He can handle the ball up out over the plate. That's why he's a 300 hitter, and that's why he was an MVP one year. That's sometimes as a pitcher you just off you capture the hitter and say nice going.
The 0-2 to Leyritz. First base umpire John Hirschbeck says ball 1. A 5-3 New York Yankees lead. All 3 Red Sox runs coming on home runs. Leyritz in the 4th, Vaughn here in the 5th. And the 1-2 to Leyritz. Ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that was a good pitch. That's a pitcher's pitch. That's that cutter. That's a cut fastball that he ran in on Jim Leyritz's hands. The ball that Leyritz hit out for a home run was a breaking ball out over the plate that he went out and hooked and hit it over the Power Alley 399 left field fence here at Yankee Stadium. That last pitch was in on his hands, just the opposite place of the plate.
In the dirt, ball 3, so Wells was ahead 0-2. He's thrown 3 consecutive balls to Leyritz. 2 outs, 2 men in. 2 runs on 2 hits here in the 5th for the Red Sox. And the payoff pitch from Wells. Leyritz bouncing it foul down the first base line as he looked to lean away from it. And now heads over for a new bat.
That was a excuse me swing or a suicidal trying to save your face swing. I'm not sure which, but watch the ball. It's chasing him. It's coming in at him. Lifts his leg, and it's fouled him in there. He's just fighting that ball off. I think if he misses that ball, that's liable to hit him right in the face. He has a very unorthodox stance. He pushes his weight back. He stiffens his front leg and sits way back on his back leg. And it means his hips are open to start with, so he's quick inside. But he had to be real quick on that one, or that was going right into one earlobe.
Ball 4, so Leyritz heads down to first. 4 consecutive balls. with the foul ball, of course, in between. But Wells was ahead of the count. No balls, 2 strikes. A 2-out walk. First walk in the game issued by Wells. Here's Troy O'Leary, who extended his hitting streak to 12 games with a second inning single. O'Leary 1 for 2. And the off-speed pitch, a called strike, 0-1.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me to think about Red Sox history. So many of the great Red Sox hitters were left-handed. And that's where the short left field porch is at Fenway. You'd think it'd be a right-hander would be a great hitter up there, but most of their, or a lot of their great hitters were left-handed. Ted Williams. And he was a pull hitter. Now you take a Wade Boggs who hit so many years up there, who would inside out the ball and hit some short fly balls off that porch. But Johnny Pesky, Carl Yastrzemski, you're talking about left-handers, Freddie Lynn, who were very successful at Fenway.
Again, Wells ahead, 0-2. Yastrzemski jersey in the stands here at Yankee Stadium. Last pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
How about that?
Very brave fellow.
You're not kidding. Tell you, when I was coaching with the Yankees, my kids would wear Yankee uniforms at the Fenway, and they weren't real popular up there, and they were little kids, you know. So here's a guy walks in here with that. I don't. Maybe he's safe inside. I don't know about outside.
And the 1-2 hit deep to right on the warning track. The catch is made by O'Neill, and Wells finally works out of the 5th inning, but not before the Red Sox score 2 on the 14th home run of the season off the bat of Vaughn. Vaughn went deep in the top of the 5th inning. And now in the bottom of the 5th, Raines, Posada, and Soho for the Yankees. A 5-3 Yankees lead. Yankees lost their season opening series in Anaheim, and they have not lost a series since then. 15-0-3. They've gone 18 consecutive series without losing one of them. A record of 35-11 as Tim Raines lines out to the right fielder Darren Bragg. 1 out. They're in the bottom of the 5th.
That was amazing with that start the Yankees got. There was a lot of talk here in New York. Here they go again, because the Orioles jumped out to a great start. They were 10-2, and here the Yankees started off at 1-4, and people said, "Oh boy, here we go, same as last year." But obviously it has not been. And as I said earlier, this ball club, really, Kenny, it's not been like the whole team hitting at once, you know, like some teams do when they really get so hot. Each guy in the lineup has picked the other guys up at times, and that's a sign of an exceptional club.
Jorge Posada 1 for 2. Yankees leading the American League with a batting average of .299, actually tied with the Texas Rangers, tied for first, and they are also number 1 in earned run average.
Well, that helps. You're not kidding when you're right at the top in those categories. And this Yankee team is a better defensive team now too, with Knobloch at second base. They're strong up the middle. Brocious came in. I think probably the 2 big surprises for the Yankees this year have got to be Brocious and Arabu, because nobody expected, or at least the Yankees didn't expect Brocious to be hitting the way he is.
And Posada at the plate right now, about a year ahead of schedule. They figured he would take over the catching chores from Joe Girardi next season, but Posada has done a terrific job this year. We talked about his work in the perfect game a week and a half ago. Posada making his 26th start tonight. Girardi has started 21 games. And the Yankees, we mentioned, 18 consecutive series without a loss. The Phillies over 2 seasons, 83 and 84, went 19 in a row. And you mentioned the Yankees started 1-4. And the Orioles won 10 of their first 12 games, but what a year it has been for the New York Yankees. Solid from top to bottom. Their general manager, Brian Cashman, says if I can't improve the 25-man roster, I'll look for spots to improve the 40-man roster. Well, not much room for improvement on the 25.
Well, you're not kidding, but you always look. There might be somebody available, and in this day and age, you see a lot of movement if a club falls out of contention.
And Posada with a drive to right field. And this one is gone. 6th home run of the season for Posada. 6-3 Yankees.
I think if there's a term you can use about the Yankees, you can kind of, at least up to this point in the season, they're relentless. They just gave up 2 runs, and they come right back with another one, and it's somebody else in the lineup contributing, and it's Jorge Posada steps up right away and hits one out of here. This is a line drive. Watch this swing. Ball is low, and that ball right there is the foul ball. It pops foul. But the home run he hit was a screamer into the right field seats. It was a low line drive that just, we weren't sure it was going to get out of here.
And now Luis Sojo, 1 for 2, scored a run in the 4th inning. Now 1-1. Posada with his 6th home run. 5 have been solo shots, and he had gone 11 games without a homer. Strawberry a solo homer in the 3rd inning, and now Posada in the 5th. Both teams with 2 home runs tonight. Vaughn and Leyritz for the Red Sox. 1-2.
And there's Jorge Posada feeling pretty good about this swing. Now, this is a home run swing here. Ball right in the middle of the plate. Look at that nice looking swing. And he's jogging down there. That ball, you weren't sure that thing was going to be high enough to be out of here, but obviously it felt like it to him.
And the 1-2. Slice to right. Bragg's got it. 2 away. And it's time for another Fox Sportsnet game break. Braves and the Expos in Montreal. 2nd inning. Ryan Klesko hits his 8th home run of the season to right field. And the Braves now leading at 4-1 in the 6th inning. Dennis Martinez, El Presidente, on the mound for the Braves. Should he win tonight, he would tie Juan Marichal for most wins by a Latin-born pitcher with 243. Braves out to a 4-1 lead. As Dale Swain takes strike 1 with 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Boy, it's amazing, isn't it? Dennis Martinez, how he stayed around and made comebacks, you know, when everybody thought he was finished. There's another one of those foul balls. They foul off that front leg. When that ball is inside, either off-speed pitch, fastball low and in, or a breaking ball, a lot of hitters tend to foul it off their front foot, front leg, and well, that can sting. But we were talking about Dennis Martinez. Of course, Dennis pitched a perfect game a few years back against the Dodgers. But after several years with the Orioles, looked like his career was over. Ended up surfacing with the Expos.
Check swing, and third base umpire Jim Joyce says ball 1. Swain 1 for 2. Singled in the 2nd inning against Wakefield. John Wasden on in relief. Wakefield lasted only 3 1/3. 2-2. Wakefield allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 of the 5 earned. He walked 4. Very un-Tim Wakefield-like. Struck out 2, allowed the 1 home run, and threw 1 wild pitch, his first of the season. There's Chuck Knobloch on deck, who doubled twice against Wakefield and has scored 2 of the Yankees' 6 runs. The 2-2 to Swain, and he pops it up. Foul territory. Varitek throws the mask, and that retires the Yankees in the 5th, but not before they score another run. The 6th home run of the season off the bat of catcher Jorge Posada. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sportsnet is brought to you by Canon. So advanced, it's simple. Bottom of the order for the Boston Red Sox in the 6th inning against David Wells, who's allowed 3 runs on 9 hits over the first 5. And a ground ball. Jeter makes the nice play at short, fires across to retire Benjamin.
Wow, this is a sensational play. This kid can flat out play. He is you're starting to see actually the maturing of a young superstar before this is over. Before his career is over. This is a tremendous play. This is pure athletic ability, and to throw a strike across the infield, almost stumbling after he catches the ball. Watch how he throws it with a wide open body position. Ooh, what talent.
One away. Here's Darren Bragg, 1 for 2, doubled his last time up in the 4th inning.
Just through 5 innings.
Curveball in for strike 2, 0-2. Ramiro Mendoza lasted only 3 innings last night, the Yankees starter. Prior to last night, started. Curveball in for strike 2, 0-2. Ramiro Mendoza lasted only 3 innings last night, the Yankees starter. Prior to last night, starters had gone 15 straight games pitching 6 or more innings. And a bullet foul back behind third base. 0-2. Yankee starters on the season 25-7.
You know, it's amazing. You can be doing that and be very successful, and all of a sudden have a starter knocked out early, and you can blow a bullpen out in one day. If you have a game like the Yankees had last night at Comiskey Park in Chicago, they just went right through their bullpen.
In the dirt, 1-2. Yankees without one of their 6 relievers tonight. Jeff Nelson serving the first of his 2-game suspension. And they made a roster move. They called up right-handed relief man Todd Erdos from Columbus and designated Willie Banks for assignment. So the Yankees with 5 pitchers available in the bullpen tonight. Red Sox made 2 roster moves. We'll tell you about those in just a moment. As Bragg flies out to the center fielder, Bernie Williams, 2 away. In the top of the 6th, David Wells, 2 Sundays ago against the Minnesota Twins. Perfection.
Popped up right field near the line.
Paul O'Neill makes the catch. Ron Cooper, the final out. The 15th perfect game in Major League history. Second by a Yankee, Don Larson, and the story has been chronicled over the last week and a half. Went to the same high school, Point Loma in San Diego, as David Wells, as Varitek singles into left. What are the odds on that? The only 2 Yankee pitchers in history to throw a perfect game went to the same high school. And Joe Torre was at both games. As a 16-year-old, he was in the stands during the 1956 World Series. He said he had a better view of the final out in the Larson perfect game up in the stands than he did when Paul O'Neill made the catch in the right field corner in Wells' perfect game.
Sure, that's true. You can't see the right fielder in the corner here.
Runner going. Here's the throw from Posada, and they nail Varitek. Perfect throw from Jorge Posada, who homered in the bottom of the 5th and throws out Varitek trying to steal here in the 6th. Yankees 6, Red Sox 3. Jeff, you missing any Red Sox?
Well, look at this. I don't know. Yankee fans are innovative. The Red Sox are trying to be innovative too. I can't believe they're running a catcher in a situation like this with 2 outs, 3 runs down. They just help the pitcher out who's getting up in pitch count. There's a beautiful throw by Posada. The only thing I can guess is that they're don't think they're going to run it all, and figure they're catching the Yankees sleeping. That's all I can figure. That just is a very strange play.
Bottom of the 6th and the top of the order for the Yankees. Chuck Knobloch, who has doubled twice tonight against Wakefield, facing Wasden for the first time. Wasden replaced Wakefield after 3 1/3. And he's allowed the solo homer by Posada in the Yankees' 5th. 6-3 Yankees lead, and they've now scored 60 runs in their last 6 games, including tonight.
Well, Chuck Knobloch has been a big part of that. Look at his hit zone. He loves the ball down in the zone all across the plate, and that one ball that's up in the middle of the plate is the one he hit down the left field line before. He's lowered his hands a little bit He originally lays his bat back toward the catcher, but he had his hands a little higher before. Now he looks a little more relaxed with his hands lower. And, you know, to George Steinbrenner's credit, he was quoted earlier in the year when Knobloch, maybe a couple weeks ago, Knobloch was struggling and his batting average was low. He said, I'm not worried about this kid. He's been an all-star for a long time. I know he's going to hit. That's nice coming from the owner.
He's 12 for his last 29. And the 2-1 pitch, foul down the left field line, 2-2.
He does something that's very interesting. A lot of hitters tend to choke the bat with their top hand. They get it way in the hand. They really want to hit so badly they're almost choking the sawdust out. You can take a look at the top hand. See his top hand? His thumb isn't even wrapped around the bat. He's relaxed so much. He lays the bat back in his hand, a little like Rod Carew did, hitting left-handed. But his left thumb, or actually, you know, it's his right thumb, the top hand, is not closed around the bat. So that means that bat is laying very, very gently in his hand. So his hands will be very quick.
Carew, Knobloch must be a Minnesota thing.
Yeah, maybe. His thumb off top of the bat.
Grounder to the second baseman, Benjamin, and he throws out Knobloch. Knobloch now 2 for 3. One away in the 6th.
From this angle, you take a look and you can see the thumb sitting up in the air, and by the way he holds the bat in his hands are very relaxed. He doesn't choke the bat. It makes his hands much quicker. That's a unique batting stance. You don't see a lot of guys have the head of the bat laying back toward the catcher.
One out. Here's Derek Jeter, who walked his last time up. 0 for 2. Rolling away, ball 1. Joe Torre, quoted earlier this week, said that Jeter would be his selection for team MVP.
Did he really? I guess managers and former managers with the initials JT think alike.
That's it. Former Met managers with the initials JT.
That's true. There are a lot of former Met managers.
Not many with the initials JT.
No, you're right. This kid is a good-looking player. You know, it's so neat. We were talking on Fox last week about Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, the shortstop with Seattle, how they compete. They're almost the same size, almost about the same age, and they're very close friends. And the both of them are going to be all-stars together.
They also stay with each other whenever the Yankees play in Seattle or the Mariners play here in New York.
This kid is great. He is so popular in New York to begin with. I mean, his talent is obvious, but he hasn't changed since he got here. Now you can see what he does in scoring runs. He can run. The triples show that. Multi-hit games, 7th in the American League. This guy is in 6 offensive categories in the top 10 in the American League. In the meantime, he's only got 2 errors defensively. He can do it all.
And we saw what he could do with the glove in the top half of this 6th inning. Jeter, one guy happy to see Wakefield out.
Yeah. There are 2 guys. Veritek's another one. I mean, he hated to see him go that way, but makes it a lot easier catching without that ball dancing around. And it's awful. You know, I joke about it, being a former catcher catching knuckleballs, but that is awful. Veritek, any catcher is tough, but at Yankee Stadium with the ball dancing and you're young.
And the 2-2 pitch, slice to right. On the run is Bragg, and he makes the catch.
Well, that was a nice catch by Bragg, and I guarantee you Joe Torre in the Yankee dugout didn't see that either.
So 2 away here in the 6th inning. This Saturday night, FX Baseball Saturday night, Mark McGwire and the Cardinals take on the Padres, 8:30 Eastern. So check that, 10 Eastern and 7 Pacific on FX Baseball Saturday night. I will be joined, Jeff, in San Diego by former Yankees catcher Rick Cerone.
Another former Seton Hall guy.
Along with Valentin and Mo Vaughn. And O'Neill drills this one to right field, and it's a fair ball off the wall. And the relay throw by Bragg, so O'Neill held to a long single.
O'Neill hits that. That ball's right in the middle of the plate, and he pulls it. He's got a little way of tapping his right toe. That's his lead toe. Now he pulls that ball in the middle of the plate down the right field line this time. His first time up, he took the ball in the middle of the plate and hit the ball to left center field. That's what makes him so dangerous.
Second hit of the evening for O'Neill. 2-out single. Here's Bernie Williams, who has walked twice tonight. Also struck out back in the third inning. Yankees have scored in every inning but the second. Leading up to the sixth, bottom six. Yankees 6 and the Red Sox 3. Red Sox 3 runs on 10 hits. Yankees 6 runs on 9. First of an 11-game homestand for the Yankees. Now back 1-1.
You wonder how much the change in speeds affects some hitters, because you had Tim Wakefield, a knuckleballer, throwing anywhere from 68 to 72. Now in comes Wasden throwing a couple fastballs over 90, and you can see why some of these balls are fouled back. You know, it's a real contrast. I remember one year here I was coaching with the Yankees, and we had Phil Niekro as a starter the couple years he was here with the Yankees, and we had young Jose Rijo who would relieve him, throwing in the mid-90s after Knucksy would leave the game.
O'Neill the runner on at first. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Bernie Williams with 2 outs in the sixth. And a good play by Varitek. Now 2-1.
Very good play. That was textbook, the way he blocked that on both legs and closed up the hole and fielded the ball with his head down and then got up holding the runner. Those are the little plays that go unnoticed a lot of times. They certainly are not marked in the scorebook, but if he doesn't stop that ball and it gets either past him or off him, you got a runner in scoring position.
And they're certainly not unnoticed by former catchers.
No, or by managers or pitchers. The pitching staff notices those things.
2-1 from Wasden, fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, as Bernie Williams developed, you can see.
Two, and Wasden misses. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs in the sixth. Paul O'Neill, the runner on at first base for the Yankees, who lead the Red Sox 6-3. First of a 4-game set. David Cohn, Derek Lowe tomorrow. Arabo and Saberhagen Saturday. Andy Pettit and Pedro Martinez. 2-2, and Wasden misses. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs in the sixth. Paul O'Neill, the runner on at first base for the Yankees, who lead the Red Sox 6-3. First of a 4-game set. David Cohn, Derek Lowe tomorrow. Arabo and Saberhagen Saturday. Andy Pettit and Pedro Martinez, who missed the Yankees at Fenway last weekend. The pitching matchup on Sunday afternoon. O'Neill on the move, and a slow roller back to the pitcher Wasden, and he throws out Williams. 6 innings complete from Yankee Stadium, and a 6-3 Yankees lead over the Red Sox. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Top of the 7th inning. Yankees with a 6-3 lead over the Red Sox. And Darren Lewis, 3 for 3 tonight. Leads it off against David Wells. Wells has allowed 10 Red Sox base hits, 3 runs. The Yankees have scored 6 for David Wells. They are averaging over 7 runs per David Wells start. And Lewis, who had been 0 for 11 against Wells, 3 hits tonight. He scored a run in the 5th inning. Lewis, Valentin, and Garcia-Parra for the Red Sox here in the 7th. And Wells falls behind 2-0.
Well, we were talking earlier about Darren Lewis has done a nice job for the Red Sox this year. He's added that dimension of speed and good defensive center field play. If they keep pitching him up in the strike zone with fastballs, he'll keep hitting them. That's where he can hit the ball best.
Strike called. 2-1. We mentioned earlier the Red Sox made a a couple of roster moves today. Garciaparra, of course, reinstated from the disabled list. And they also recalled left-handed pitcher Brian Barkley from Pawtucket. Here's the 2-1 from Wells. Now 3-1. And the Red Sox sent down infielder Keith Johns, as well as right-handed pitcher Joe Hudson, who was just recalled on Tuesday. And the Yankees recalled Todd Erdos, who is warming up in the bullpen right now. And they designated Willie Banks for assignment. The 3-1 pitch, called strike 2, full count. Hit in the air to center. Ernie Williams pulls it in. One away. Jeff, next week on Baseball Thursday, Mark McGwire with his 25 home runs. And the St. Louis Cardinals take on the new look Dodgers. Some of you will say the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Here's John Valentin. Takes a call, strike 1. Valentin 0 for 3 tonight. 1 out in the top of the 7th. We mentioned Willie Banks, the relief pitcher who was designated for assignment by the Yankees earlier today. He and Valentin, teammates in high school, St. Anthony's in Jersey City. Valentin 2 years ahead of Banks. Great basketball teams at St. Anthony's, coached by Bob Hurley Sr. O'Neill in the corner and right. He's got it.
Now that's a tough corner to play, but Paul O'Neill really knows how to play this right field. Played there for so many years now. That's kind of tough when you come into that corner in a hurry. Because it's so short out there, you come toward the wall as it meets, so you can see he knows right where he is on that warning track and near that foul line.
So here's Garciaparra with 2 outs in the 7th. Nomar 1 for 3 tonight. And if Wells retires Garciaparra here, it would be the first half inning without a base hit. Both the Red Sox and the Yankees have at least 1 hit in each of the 6 innings.
You know, it's interesting. I heard word around the ballpark here today that the Yankees play longer games. A lot of the media talked about it. Well, there's a reason why they play longer games. They score a lot of runs. They work the pitchers into deep counts. It's not what their pitchers are doing.
Line drive caught by Jeter. A 1-2-3 inning for David Wells. 7th inning stretch time. 6-3 Yankees. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Canon. So advanced, it's simple. And by 10-10-3-2-1. New number, same great savings. Kenny Albert along with Jeff Torborg back in Yankee Stadium. A warm evening, as you can see. Although we will keep our shirts on here in the booth. Bottom of the 7th. And the new pitcher for the Red Sox against the Yankees, and bench coach Don Zimmer, former Boston manager, making his major league debut. 22-year-old Brian Barkley, recalled earlier today. Barkley drafted in the 5th round back in 1994. So far this season, a record of 3 up and 4 down with Pawtucket. Pitched the last 2 years with Double-A Trenton. So Brian Barkley will make his major league debut. He's 3rd in the International League in earned run average at 2.87. Record of 3 and 4. He was a starter in Triple-A this year. 9 starts. Did not make any relief appearances. And there's a former relief pitcher, now a starter, David Wells.
How about making your major league appearance at Yankee Stadium against Darryl Strawberry?
Darryl Strawberry, who homered in the third inning against Red Sox starter Tim Wakefield. Barkley out of Waco, Texas. 1-1. Eighth home run of the season for Darryl Strawberry back in the third inning. I'm sure Barkley has watched the Yankees, the powerful Yankees, over the last 2 seasons playing at Trenton.
He also was in the bullpen with the angle watching that thing go over the third deck.
Now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It's a good way to do it. If you bring somebody up, get him into a game if you can, get the butterflies out, you can realize that these guys are only human at the major league level.
And Strawberry fouls it back. So the count remains 2-2. Darryl leading off the Yankees 7th with a 6-3 lead over the Red Sox.
You know, as a manager or coach, when we brought somebody to the big leagues, we tried to get him in the game as quickly as we could.
Full count, 3-2.
Well, now he's in a situation, you better be careful. This is where a power hitter like Strawberry sits on the fastball. He says he's going to throw a fastball here. I'm going to get the head of the bat out here.
And Barkley walks the first major league batter he faces. So Darryl Strawberry heads down to first base, a leadoff walk in the 7th. Now it's Tim Raines' turn. Raines 0 for 2 with a walk. Strawberry, the runner on first against 22-year-old left-hander Brian Barkley in his major league debut. The third Red Sox pitcher, Tim Wakefield, went 3 1/3. John Wasden 2 2/3, and Raines hits this one in the air to center. The catch is made by Lewis. One away, the Yankees 7th.
Tim Raines, of course, turned around to hit right hand and hit that ball a long way, but there is a lot of ground in center field at Yankee Stadium. Darren Lewis just loped after that ball, but Tim Raines, one of the 4 switch hitters in the lineup for the Yankees tonight, makes it tough on opposing managers when you're moving left or right if you're trying to set up your left against left or right against right matchups.
So with one away, here's Jorge Posada, who homered his last time up against John Wasden. The line on Wasden, 2 2/3. Allowed 2 hits, 1 run, walked 1. And the 1 run, of course, the home run hit by Posada. Inside for ball 1. Yankees 6 and the Red Sox 3. Yankees scored 2 in the first inning. Paul O'Neill with an RBI double. Strawberry a solo homer in the third. 2 more runs in the fourth, thanks to a wild pitch and a pass ball. And then Posada homered in the 5th. This time he pops out to the third baseman Valentin. 2 away in the 7th. Strawberry remains on at first.
When you look at this Red Sox team and the start they got this year, we talked about the strength they got early in the early part of the season, I should say, in April, and they got good starting pitching. Well, now the starting pitching is scuffling, but their bullpen is good. Got a good closer now in Tom Gordon, and the setup man happens to be Dennis Eckersley, who's on the way to the Hall of Fame. But you've got guys that come out of the bullpen for them. They have nice balance. They've done a good job.
Here's Luis Sojo, 1 for 3, and he takes strike 1. Red Sox 5th in the American League in earned run average. Just under 4.4. But it has been their starters who have struggled over the last 4 games. Strawberry was going, and Sojo fouls it into the stands back behind first base, 0-2.
Sojo has this approach to hitting. They call it the Bible approach. Thou shalt not pass. That ball is coming to the plate. He's up there. He walks around in the box. His left side comes open sometimes, and he just swings the bat and hits to right field. So why not put something on? You know, if you knowing he's going to be up there whacking away, you'll try anything. Good guy to have on the ball club. Aggressive hitter.
The 0-2 fouled off down the third baseline, rolls into the Red Sox dugout as Varitek heads out to chat with Barkley.
He's laughing at himself for some of the swings he's taken at some pitches. Willie Randolph, of course, the third base coach, former Yankee captain. What an honor that was to be a captain of the Yankees. What a player he was. Excellent second baseman.
How many Red Sox Yankees games has Willie been involved in?
Oh boy, a lot, and a lot of tough battles. We were talking about that fisticuffs that erupted against the Orioles, and he got talking about a bad one the Yankees and the Red Sox had years ago.
1976.
Yeah, when Bill Lee got hurt in the fight.
Greg Nettles.
Red Sox pitcher Greg Nettles, yeah. Thurman Munson got tangled up with somebody at the plate. I think it might have been, I don't know if it was Fisk, but there was a mess at the plate, and those two teams really went at it, or these two teams, I should say.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And the pitch from Barkley. Soho hits it in the air, shallow center. Catch is made by Lewis. So Barkley walks the leadoff man Strawberry in his major league debut and then retires 3 in a row. 7 innings complete from Yankee Stadium.
We get our
The view from the Brooklyn Bridge as we welcome you back to Yankee Stadium. We head to the 8th, and the new pitcher for the Yankees, Mike Stanton, in relief of David Wells. Stanton spent parts of 2 seasons with the Red Sox, finished up in '95 with Boston, and pitched in the divisional series with the Red Sox against the Cleveland Indians, and then traded midway through the '96 season to the Texas Rangers. This is second year with the Yankees. So Stanton with a record of 3-0, 4 saves in relief of Wells here in the 8th. And we would like to remind you the NHL on Fox continues this Sunday afternoon. Game 4 between the Dallas Stars and the Detroit Red Wings. Series tied at 1. Western Conference Finals, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific this Sunday on Fox. And you can follow the Fox tracks to see who will win hockey's ultimate prize this Sunday. So a big weekend on Fox Sports with regional baseball coverage beginning on Saturday, including the Yankees and the Red Sox, and then the Stanley Cup playoffs continue on Sunday. The Detroit Red Wings and the Dallas Stars. 8th inning from Yankee Stadium. Not only do we have a new pitcher, but a new left fielder as well, as Chad Curtis replaces Tim Raines.
Well, that's strictly a defensive move. Chad Curtis really a center fielder. Tim Raines bothered by tender legs and doesn't have the kind of arm that Curtis has. So when you put Curtis in the outfield now, it's like you got 2 center fielders out there. But Tim Raines has done a great job for this Yankee club since coming over from the White Sox.
And the first batter Stanton will face here in the top of the 8th, Mo Vaughn, who homered his last time up, his 6th career home run against David Wells. Let's take a look. 5th inning with 2 outs, and Darren Lewis on at second. Mo Vaughn, home run number 14. 0-2. How about Stanton? He's been to the playoffs every year since '91, except of course the strike year in '94, '91, '92, and '93 with the Braves, '95 with the Red Sox, '96 Texas, '97 with the Yankees. 6 consecutive years in the postseason. Foul tip. So Vaughn stays alive at 0-2.
Well, when you think about that, he's more than a good luck charm. He's had a lot to do with it. You know, he's the kind of guy that really helps a bullpen. Back in '93, he saved 27 games for the Braves. So he's a guy that's been pitched out of a lot of roles in that bullpen and has experience, and he's left-handed, and he's got a good live arm. Comes to the Yankees last year, he was 6-1. His earned run average was .257. So this year, when they needed a closer because Rivera was hurt, Stanton stepped it up and saved 4 games. This guy is a good pitcher.
He strikes out Vaughn. 1 out here in the 8th. Although Stanton did blow a save in Boston on Friday night. He allowed the game-winning 2-run single off the bat of Darren Bragg, but he comes back tonight and strikes out Vaughn.
They got ahead of him and threw it hard, and I think it might have been Cutter low and away after getting ahead of him 2 strikes, and he made sure he kept the ball away from him. Obviously, he was watching the one that Vaughn crushed off of David Wells in the inside part of the plate. They weren't messing around in there again.
And Lawrence fouls off the first pitch from Stanton. Lawrence homered in the 4th. He was also called out on strikes and walked. 1 for 2. Top of the 8th inning, 1 away. First of a 4-game set here at Yankee Stadium. Yankees on top 6-3. Now back 0-2. And it was Lawrence back in the 4th inning who hit his 8th home run of the season off David Wells. And you heard the mixed reaction from the crowd here at Yankee Stadium. Lawrence a fan favorite during his 7 seasons in New York. 9 away, 1-2.
Yeah, it's interesting how the Yankee fans really grab hold of a guy, especially Lawrence is like the underdog. You know, he didn't play regularly. He alternated while he was here one way or another with either Mike Stanley or different positions on the field. Of course, I mentioned to you how he missed that ball in Comiskey Park playing left field back in 1990, and what it turned out to be a no-hitter for Andy Hawkins through 8 innings, and he lost the game.
But could he do that?
I don't know, but this guy's working hard to get that baseball.
With some help. And it gets through into right field. Second hit of the game for Lawrence. So the Red Sox with a base runner, 1 away for Troy O'Leary. O'Leary 1 for 3. Singled his first time up. Manager Jimmy Williams and Jeff, our research staff, did some extensive work earlier today. And they tell us that Jimmy Williams, in his first major league at bat, was struck out by Sandy Koufax April 26th, 1966. You were there, but you were not behind the plate. Johnny Roseboro started that day. Williams with the St. Louis Cardinals, the pitching matchup, Koufax and Gibson. At Dodger Stadium, a 4-2 Dodgers victory. Jimmy Williams' first major league at bat, he struck out. One and one.
I'm glad I wasn't catching him. If Gibson was pitching against this, Johnny Roseboro, of course, was a left-handed hitter, and we platooned for a couple of years there with the Dodgers. What a matchup! How about that? 2 Hall of Famers.
And then Williams picked up his first major league hit against Juan Marichal. Jimmy played 14 games over 2 seasons with the Cardinals. As O'Leary tips it foul.
You know, that was a good play. You see that? You just watch Posada let that ball go. He's going to see with the batter standing in the batter's box, hoping maybe that hits the plate and goes back onto the field, fair, you know, into a fair territory. So he didn't pick it up. That's a bright play.
1-2 strike count. Lawrence the runner on first. 1 out, top of the 8th inning. Stanton in relief of Wells. 2-2.
Jimmy Williams has really done a nice job in Boston. He struggled last year. The club they'd lost Roger Clemens. They had no anchor in their starting staff, and of course they went out and spent all that money this year on Pedro Martinez, and he has been very, very good for him, and that picks up the rest of the club, the rest of the rotation.
And this is a fair ball down the left field line. Lawrence heading towards third. Somebody touched it in the stand, so it's a ground rule double. And the Red Sox with 2 men on and only 1 out.
Oh, we were talking before about playoff hockey. There's always a playoff atmosphere when these 2 teams get together, either here at Fenway. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Mel Stottlemyre, the Yankee pitching coach, is going out now, but here's the replay. This is a pretty good piece of hitting. This ball's low and away, and look at O'Leary just place this ball in a line like a tennis player would. Ball hops up and a fan grabs it, fan interference, or at least hits it. So you can see the signal by the umpire at third base. That's fan interference. So the home plate umpire then places the runners where he thinks the runners should be.
Second hit of the game for Troy O'Leary. Yankee pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre out to chat with Stanton. Mariano Rivera warming up in the Yankee bullpen.
Jimmy Williams is going out just to ask what happened there. He can't see the play from the dugout, so he was looking at Wendell Kim, his third base coach, seeing what kind of reaction is. So he's going out to ask Jim Joyce what happened, because you can't see the lines here from the dugouts. This is where the eye in the sky began at Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees put a coach up in the booth to tell the dugout what's going on down in the corners and how to set the defense.
Stanton struck out Vaughn leading off the eighth. Leyritz singled, O'Leary doubled. Two men on. Mike Benjamin 0 for 3 tonight. And Benjamin hits the first pitch into shallow right. O'Neill did not get a good jump on it, but he makes the catch. A diving catch in right.
Wow. This was a tremendous play by O'Neill making this catch, but this was not a good base running move by Leyritz at third base. When you're at third base, unless you're in a situation like this with only one out, you tag up. But here's O'Neill making a real nice play. Of course, he really jammed his knee into the ground. This is an outstanding play. This is one of those things you worry about, also breaking a wrist if your hand grabs into the grass. But as O'Neill is doing this, Leyritz is halfway up the line. He's got to be tagging up. If the ball falls in, he can almost jog home. If the ball's caught, he's got to be able to tag up and possibly score. If he doesn't score, he can stop. But you can't do anything when you're stuck in the middle of between home and third.
And Mike Benjamin, the victim of some outstanding defense. He was robbed by Derek Jeter in the 6th. And now the terrific play made by O'Neill here in the 8th inning. So 2 away with runners on second and third. Aaron Bragg 1 for 3 tonight.
Aaron Bragg.
Red Sox 1 for 6 with men in scoring position. They've left 6 runners on, including 2 in the first inning and 2 more in the third.
Stanton has a good hard breaking ball. It was a pretty good piece of hitting. In fact, it was more than pretty good. It was a very good piece of hitting by a left-hander, Troy O'Leary, to paint the left field foul line with one of those hard breaking balls low and away. But Stanton has got good hard breaking stuff tonight and should be very effective against left-handers.
Bragg 1 for 3 with a double. Leyritz the runner on third, O'Leary on second. 2 outs. Off-speed pitch. Misses for ball 1. 1-1.
Well, that was a big curveball he missed with, and you can see Bragg's hit zone. He likes the ball in the middle of the plate, but he also can reach that ball that's up and out over. We said many times the left-handed hitter against the left-handed pitcher too becomes more of a high ball hitter. That ball in the middle out over is the one that Bragg will hit. If Mike Stanton doesn't get his breaking ball down and away, that's the pitch he'll hit. Those hit zones are great because they give you quick flash reference. Major League Ball clubs use those for their pitchers and catchers. Take a look at it. Don't talk too much. Don't get them confused. Just look at those hit zones and it tells you right away the areas you want to stay out of. And that last pitch was in that cold zone down and away to Bragg.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the 8th. Stanton's pitch fouled back.
Jorge Posada is using a sequence set of signs right now with a runner at second base. And not having seen him enough, I think he's using the second sign. In other words, he's pre-designed with Mike Stanton what pitch will count when he goes through these signs. And take a look at him again, and I think they're using a second set. The reason you do that, you got a runner sitting at second base. He can look right in, so you've got to give a sequence of signs. Changeup 3, I think it's a slider. 3 would be the second pitch, I think, going long away.
Called strike 3. Second strikeout for Mike Stanton. The Red Sox leave 2 on in the 8th as we take one more look.
Legs.
Six-3 Yankees as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning. Time now for our American Century Mutual Funds Play of the Century. He's called the Rocket. Roger Clemens, 4-time Cy Young Award winner and the only pitcher to strike out 20 batters in a 9-inning game twice. First in 1986 against the Mariners, 10 years later against the Tigers. Now with the Toronto Blue Jays, Roger is tied with Cy Young for the Boston Red Sox record, 38 career shutouts. 20 strikeouts twice as Dale Swaim hits the first pitch in the 8th inning to the center fielder Darren Lewis. So Brian Barkley has retired 4 in a row following the leadoff walk to Strawberry in the 7th. And Kerry Wood, of course, earlier this season, the Cubs rookie against the Houston Astros. Fan 20. What an afternoon this was at Wrigley.
I watched that game on television. That was just tremendous. Boy, you talk about a mismatch that day with a kid pitching.
One away in the 8th. Chuck Knobloch 2 for 3. He scored 2 of the Yankee runs. Kerry Wood with the 20 strikeout game against Houston. Clemens has done it twice. Randy Johnson twice struck out 19. David Cohn of the Yankees, of course, he was not with the Yankees back in '91. Called strike 2 and 1. That was in Philadelphia.
Last day of the season. You know, you look at that list and you look at how many of those pitchers are big guys, big, strong guys. Carlton was real big. Clemens is real big. Kerry Wood, the young kid we're talking about, is very big. David Cohn's the only guy who's about 6 feet, 190 pounds, but you got big, strong legs, good power pitchers. Randy Johnson, what's he, 6'11", 6'10"?
And Knobloch with his third base hit of the game, singles to right. And when you talk about the big stories in baseball this year, as we check out David Cohn, who struck out 19 with the Mets in '91. Mark McGwire, of course, has to be the top story with his 25 home runs. But the 2 pitching performances, Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game, and the perfect game pitched by David Wells against the Minnesota Twins.
Yes. And you know, it's interesting. We were talking about size of players. Well, David Wells is a big guy, but Mark McGwire is just unbelievable with the weight training. You're seeing guys now much bigger than they used to be. I think I looked back and saw that in 1965 there were only 3 players in Major League Baseball who were over 230 pounds.
Derek Jeter takes a called strike. Jeter 0 for 3 tonight. With Knobloch on at first, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees looking to make it 17-3 here at Yankee Stadium. They also have the best road record in Major League Baseball, 19-8. They've won 4 of their last 5, 9 of 11, 12 of 16. Jeter fouls it off, 0-2.
Kenny, this is a situation Knobloch's trying to run. He was just at this particular point, and as you see the hit zone for Jeter. Now, Jeter likes to inside out the ball most of the time, but he's stronger this year. That's why he's got more home runs. He can pull the ball on the inside, but he gets inside the ball well. Knobloch at first base almost broke on that last pitch. He was trying to get a read. He doesn't know this young pitcher, but he's trying to get a read at first. He didn't even get very far off there, but he almost got a walking lead, meaning that the pitcher didn't stop him on the pitch before the last one, or before the throw over, I should say.
And the 0-2 from Barkley. Jeter with a base hit into left. His first hit of the game. And the Yankees with runners on first and second. And time for another Fox Sports Net game break. 8th inning in Montreal. Braves leading 5-4, and Mark Grudzielanek singles to center off Brian Edmondson, scoring Vladimir Guerrero. Braves of the Expos now tied at 5 in the bottom of the 8th. A no decision for Dennis Martinez against his former club, one of his former clubs, the Montreal Expos. Paul O'Neill 2 for 4. Takes strike one. O'Neill doubled in a run in the first, singled his last time up. Consecutive base hits by Knobloch and Jeter, the top of the Yankee order, against Brian Barkley in his major league debut. 22-year-old left-hander out of Waco, Texas. Curve misses for a ball, 1-1.
You know, I'm watching O'Neill. When Paul O'Neill was with Cincinnati, he struggled against left-handed pitchers. His average when he came to the Yankees was .218 against left-handed pitching. When he came to the Yankees, Buck Showalter, at that time the manager of the Yankees, used him very carefully against particular left-handers, and they changed his approach a little bit to hitting, and then he started to hit left-handers.
2 balls, 1 strike.
And that really made him a better hitter. I really believe that, because we talked earlier about how he uses the whole field. You can see his hit zone. He handles the ball from the middle in and also out over. That one out over is the one against left-handers that normally is the breaking ball going away from him. But he learned to use the whole field, and that's why he's become such a hitter here with the Yankees.
Both runners going. No throw from Varitek.
This will happen with good base runners on and a left-handed pitcher on the mound. One of the easiest bases to steal, from what I've heard from great base stealers, especially from Maury Wills, was if you have a left-handed pitcher on the mound, you're at second base, he has a tough time seeing you and doesn't pay attention enough, and you can steal third base easily, and that's what happened there without a throw.
13th steal for Jeter. Knobloch has 12. And the 3-1 to O'Neill. Reached out for it. And 3 Red Sox in pursuit, but it bounces into the stands.
Now this is a tough play. You're running. This field is crowned a little bit, and you're kind of running downhill toward the stands there. There's not a lot of room. So it's a very tough play for the third baseman. You see Valentin trying to look up, and he knows he's getting close to the stands. And that ball, because it's off a left-hander's bat, is kind of hooking away. And I'm sure people were talking to him over there, and not so gently. I don't think they were the people from Jersey City that he probably left tickets for.
The payoff pitch, and O'Neill with a liner to right. The catch is made by Bragg. Here comes Knobloch. He scores the Yankees' 7th run. Sacrifice fly. Paul O'Neill, his 2nd RBI of the game.
Well, we talked earlier about how Jimmy Leyritz made a mistake and got caught in no man's land. Obviously, Knobloch knew exactly what he was doing. The minute you're in a situation like that with less than 2 outs at third base, the first thing you always do is go back to the base on anything hit to the outfield, and then you can quickly change your direction if you know the ball's going to fall.
Knobloch has scored 3 runs tonight. He's 3 for 4 and has scored 3 of the Yankees' 7 runs. So now 2 outs. Jeter remained on second, and Barkley will intentionally walk Bernie Williams with first base open, and the lefty Darryl Strawberry waiting on deck.
Well, this is a good move if you're talking about strategy relative to matchups, left against left, right against right, and so on. But I don't know. I always worried about turning on a real good hitter, walking a good hitter. Now, Bernie Williams, of course, is an excellent hitter, better hitter right-handed and left-handed even. But Darryl Strawberry, when he gets locked in, I know he can look bad against a left-hander, but you make a mistake, and he's liable to hit one in the upper deck. So many times when I was a young manager with Cleveland coming in playing the Yankees, those were the Yankee teams of the 80s, I would walk Munson to try to strike out Reggie Jackson because he had more holes. Well, that obviously didn't work too much. Reggie's in the Hall of Fame now. But
remember, Strawberry was the first batter Barkley faced. He walked back to the 7th inning. So Strawberry will get another chance with 2 men on. Strawberry homered back in the 3rd inning. His team leading 8th of the year. right side. Vaughn knocks it down, and it's off the glove of Barkley. Here comes Jeter. Williams moves over to third. Strawberry out at second. So the Red Sox problems in the field continue.
Well, Mo Vaughn is an outstanding hitter, but he has some trouble defensively. He is either led or tied for the league lead in errors at first base for the last 5 years. And he takes his time on this ball. This is a rocket. This ball is hit hard, and he drops the ball. But watch how he takes his time. You can't take your time on that. See, and then you got the pitcher coming over, and if you just take your time too much, the timing is off for the pitcher. He gets to the base too soon, and this is what happened here. The throw is off just a little bit, and Barkley is already almost past the base. That's a tough play for that young pitcher. Now the throw's off a little bit, and you've got to lead the pitcher, but in this situation, he just got to the base. The timing was off. And he's on the dead run, and then the throw is a little bit off.
And Jimmy Williams has seen enough of Brian Barkley, with the Yankees leading 8-3 in the 8th. Leading at 8-3 next week on Baseball Thursday here on Fox Sports Net. Mark McGuire and the Cardinals take on the Dodgers. Some of you will see the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Fourth pitcher of the game for the Red Sox, Rich Garces, will make his 11th appearance of the season.
Well, I mentioned that the Red Sox pen has been pretty effective. Garces has been effective. Fewer hits in innings pitched. The only problem is a little too many walks. That's a problem that you have. You're in trouble if you're walking a lot of people.
Chad Curtis batting for the first time, came out as a defensive replacement for Tim Raines. Curtis batting .274 with 5 home runs. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. 2 runs in here in the 8th. Red Sox have committed 2 errors. Mo Vaughn here in the 8th inning, committing his 4th error of the season. 2 errors, 1 wild pitch, 1 pass ball, all leading to Yankee runs.
Well, the Yankees take advantage of everything. A club that's winning does that, and anytime that they're given a gift, they take advantage of it. The club that's struggling, you can almost try to give them a game and they can't take advantage of it. Well, the Yankees have not done that this year.
Strike called, 3-1.
I watched Rich Garces early in the year. His mechanics were all messed up. He's got it together now. He has a tendency to spin over toward first base. He's a big burly guy to begin with. Unless he stays over the rubber, that heavy middle that he has will pull him off from the plate.
And he walks Curtis. So both Barkley and Garces walk the first batters they face. And the bases are full of Yankees. Ernie Williams at third. Now Strawberry on second. Chad Curtis on at first base. 2 runs in here in the 8th. And Jorge Posada, who homered earlier, he's 2 for 4 with the bases loaded. Posada this season with the bases loaded, 2 for 6 with 5 runs batted in. Strike called, 0-1.
I was mentioning earlier in the game how impressed I am with the way the Yankees go to the plate. They seem to have a game plan. They really know what they're doing at the plate. They don't go up there and take easy outs unless the ball's a triple pitch and they jump it, but they make the pitcher work.
0-2.
For an example, here's a young hitter in Posada. He's going up there and taking 2 pitches. Yes, he's in the hole 0-2, but he didn't go up there and swing at the pitcher's pitch. He was looking for something. Even though he's 0-2 now, he didn't go for a bad ball. Of course, now he's got to defend the area, but that's an experienced hitting club, and this is only a kid, so he's fit right in.
Ground ball to Vaughn, and this time he will step on first himself to retire the side, but the Yankees scored 2 more runs. We move to the 9th. Yankees up 8-3. Veritek, Lewis, and Valentin for the Red Sox in the 9th. 8-3 lead for the New York Yankees as they look to win for the 5th time in the last 6 games. Coming up immediately following the Yankees and the Red Sox, Fox Sports News. Trade rumors around Major League Baseball involving Randy Johnson and the Dodgers. Game 3 NHL Eastern Conference Finals. The Capitals in Buffalo. And a preview of the Indiana Pacers and the Chicago Bulls. Bulls took a 3-2 win last night. A Game 6 preview coming up on Fox Sports News. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. The coordinating producer for Baseball Thursday is Larry Myers. Terrific job by our entire crew. Producer Tom Hewitt, director Jeff Mitchell, and the head of field operations is Andrea Jenkins. Mike Stanton will try and close out the Red Sox here in the 9th. First of a 4-game set. Jason Varitek will lead it off. A happy Yankee boss. A victory tonight, and the Yankees would up their record to 36-11. George Steinbrenner was up in Boston over the weekend, enjoying the Yankees series win. They took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. In the 4 games, the Yankees have scored 38 runs. 4 in the loss on Friday. 5-4 loss to the Sox as Varitek fouls it off. And the Yankee victory Saturday and Sunday 12-3, 14-4. And they've scored 8 more runs here tonight. Yankee runs tonight, 3 of them coming on base hits. They scored 1 run on the double by O'Neill, 2 runs on homers, a sacrifice fly. They scored the other 4 runs, 2 on an error, 1 on a wild pitch, 1 on a pass ball. And Varitek hits this one to deep center. Williams on the run. He's got it on the warning track. 1 away. And our Desidents play of the game here tonight. Bottom 3 with the Yankees up 2-0. Darryl Strawberry takes Tim Wakefield deep, his 3rd career home run against Wakefield in 19 at-bats. That gave the Yankees a 3-0 lead. And they now lead it 8-3.
You know, I was looking at George Steinbrenner, and you can see the home runs tonight. These 2 clubs are known for this in their history. George Steinbrenner, you know, takes a lot of heat about his being very much in the middle of all the things that happen with these Yankees. Nobody, there's not a player on that field wants to win more than that guy. I worked for him for 10 years, and that's one of the impressive things, how much he wants to win.
Well, barring a huge comeback by the Red Sox, as Knobloch makes the catch to retire Lewis, Yankees will make it 17-3 here at home this year. 23 World Series victories, including 1996, 34 league pennants, 39 Hall of Famers. And they open Yankee Stadium on April 18th, 1923 against the Red Sox. And tonight, as we take a look at the former Red Sox and Yankee, Babe Ruth, this will be victory number 999 by the Yankees against the Sox. Valentin 0 for 4. 42,182 on hand. David Wells will up his record to 7-1, his 7th consecutive victory. Strike called 0-2. Tim Wakefield's 6-game win streak will come to an end, and the fans, Jeff, on their feet.
This was the first place I've ever seen the fans stand when a hitter had 2 strikes on him. They used to do it with Ron Guidry all the time. First place I ever saw him do that consistently.
Grounded foul down the 3rd base line.
This was a very interesting rivalry. I was here in the Yankee pinstripes for 10 years, and I didn't know what it was like. I was always involved in the Dodger-Giant rivalry, which is just special also. This one's neat.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Yankees have scored 62 runs in their last 6 games. They will make it 3-1 against the Red Sox this season. David Cohn and Derek Lowe tomorrow. The 1-2 and a base hit into left field. First of the evening for Valentin. So a 2-out single. 13th hit of the game by the Red Sox. They've out-hit the Yankees 13-11. But the Yankees opportunistic. They've taken advantage of Red Sox mistakes.
Well, that's the way the Yankees play, and bringing Chuck Knobloch into this ball club and Scott Brocious, you added more defense, you added more speed, you added guys that could do a lot of different things. This Yankee ball club is really deep in veteran players who know how to play.
Garcia power. Ground ball to Knobloch. Thought about tossing it to Jeter, who wasn't there. Instead, goes to his left to Swain, and that does it. Yankees 8 and the Red Sox 3. Boston loses their 5th consecutive game. Strawberry and Posada with Yankee home runs. So for Jeff Torborg and our entire Fox Sportsnet crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees have won the opener 8-3 this Saturday night. FX Baseball Saturday night. The Cardinals and the Padres coming up this Saturday night. And join us on Thursday for another edition of Baseball Thursday. The Cardinals and the Dodgers. Some of you will see the Diamondbacks and the Rockies.